Hello, welcome everybody, or morning, I guess I should say. Thank you all so much for having me on Fatals. I am Cloud, and I'm super excited to be showing off for you guys the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom All Dungeons speedrun. Before we get in, I'd like to also let my co-commentator introduce herself. I'm joined today by the amazingly talented Nukie. If you want to take a second to tell us who you are.
Yeah, hi, I'm Nukie. I run all the 3D Zelda games, including this one. I run 100% for all of them, so not all dungeons, but I do dungeons.
Sounds good, and we're going to be seeing a lot of dungeons in this run. Let's go ahead without further ado and jump right in. I'll count down 3, 2, 1, go, and we'll go on go. So 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, starting off on the run here, we've got a lot to explain. This category is super fun. This game's super fun. If you haven't seen it before, you're definitely in for a treat. There's a lot of very technical tricks and glitches that we're going to be doing. And some of them might be quite obtuse, and we probably won't have time to explain everything. I know that sounds a little bit crazy for a 3-hour run that we won't be able to get all the explanations in, but we'll definitely try our best. And actually, one of our first and toughest tricks of the run is coming up right at the very start. We're going to load into the prologue section at the beginning, and we're going to attempt to get out of bounds with what we call a climb jump clip. And it's called that because we climb, we jump, and we clip, as we'll attempt to do here. Not quite. And I'll turn it over to Nukie to handle the rest of the explanation for this.
Right, so after she gets the climb jump clip, she's going to have to jump over the first Zelda trigger, and she's going to be doing that by doing a Moz door, which is basically a long jump. It works by... We actually missed it there, but that's okay. I'll continue to explain Moz doors. Basically, they work by doing a jump slash while holding a direction, and then you hold a direction that's at least 90 degrees away from the way Link is facing. So she's gonna jump and then throw aim to turn the camera or turn Link's facing angle, and then do the jump slash, and it'll gain a bunch of speed, a bunch of distance, and then you can see she changed some in midair by diving and then canceling and then doing the jump slash again and just doing that over and over. And then here we're just going to be navigating around the Zelda triggers by going on the side of this wall. Obviously everyone's done this in their casual playthroughs, so this should all be pretty simple. Hope you guys are taking notes. We're going to come up to the end of here and we're going to do... Okay, you're not doing the Moz doors. Gosh, I'm taking a save.
We're just gonna run down because if you fall at the bottom of here, you void out and go right back to the very beginning of the game. Yeah. It's basically a reset. So I'll take the slightly slower but safer option there.
Super
Thank
respectable.
You for that wonderful explanation, Nukie. By the way, if your girlfriend takes you on a date down to the catacombs, I don't recommend clipping out of bounds to avoid her dialogue. She might not be happy about that. But anyways, here we're gonna be treated to a little bit of a movie night. We get to watch our fated pair here encounter something. No spoilers. We'll figure out who that is eventually. But I guess we can take this time to explain a little more about what we're going to be in for. So all dungeons, as the name implies, means we're going to be completing all dungeons, of which there are 6, being the main 4 of Fire Temple, Water Temple, Wind Temple, and Lightning Temple. In addition to Spirit Temple and Hyrule Castle also count as dungeons for the purposes of the speedrun. So we'll be rushing all those dungeons as quickly as possible and then proceeding down to the very bottom of the depths to take on this guy, whatever his name is, we'll find out later, and beat the game. So that'll be our objective here. But first we're going to have to start off in the Great Sky Island, which is the kind of gated tutorial section of the game. It's going to take us about... from the time we end the cutscene, it's going to take us about 25 minutes to get through, and we'll be showing off some very cool movement around the Great Sky Island, after which we will be making our way. We've got quite a bit of prep work to do, actually, because there's a ton of bosses. The overworld is huge, 3 times the size as in Breath of the Wild. We've got to traverse the skies, the depths, and the surface, so we've got a lot of materials to pick up, a lot of things to grab, and prep for the dungeons. And then the second 2/3 of the run will basically just be rushing all the dungeons from start to end. And we got some new glitches, new tricks, new optimizations from an old route that some of you may be familiar with. And even if you are familiar with the route, we might have some new things for you to see as well. But yeah, we'll definitely try to explain those all as we get there. And I do want to take a moment to also shout out the bonus game that we have coming up. I don't know about you guys, but I love Fatals. I'd love to see more Fatals. And if you feel the same way, please donate so we can hit that objective for Pokemon Snap coming up.
Heck yeah, Cloud. Do you want to hear an update on where we're at? Because we've been making stellar progress.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so we have passed $76,000 already, y'all, which is amazing. It means that we still need $5,812, but we are doing so well. Let's keep that momentum rolling in. And you heard her. If Cloud likes Snap, we need to get it. And I would trust anyone with a necklace as cool as that one, honestly. So let's get those donations rolling, and everybody, we love to see it.
Thank you. And even if you're just coming to watch or lurk on stream, it definitely helps support the Malala Fund and helps support the organizers and everybody who came out, and we all really appreciate it. So thank you all. So I guess we can kind of give a little bit of an overview of some of the glitches we might be seeing, because in the next 10 minutes or so, there's going to be a lot to go through. A lot of the glitches that... Oh, actually, you know what? Maybe we should talk about the version differences. What do you think, Nuki?
I was going to start explaining cog skip a little bit. It depends what you want to do.
We got a little bit of time. This cutscene's very long.
Yeah, go for version differences. Go for it.
So, we're playing on version 1.0 of the game, which is the original version that came out at launch. Up until literally last week, the world record for this category has always been on version 1.1.1, which is a patch that came out a couple weeks after launch. There's many reasons for that. However, in the past few months, the community has been making a very dedicated effort to improve the route on version 1.0 to try to bring it up to par. A lot of the reason behind that is that 1.0 is actually a lot more accessible to new runners than version 1.1.1. And in Tears of the Kingdom, there's 5 different patches that speedrunners can run on. It's a little bit of a headache situation, but we're working to make 1.0 faster for most categories to give new runners and returning runners the best chance to run the category they want. But as Nuki mentioned, we're coming up on another tough trick here, so I'll go ahead and focus up and let her explain that one.
Yeah, so this is cog skip, which replaced cog skip, but that's a lot of history that I won't go into. It basically lets us get wings early by getting to the top of the island without going through all the room of awakening stuff. And it's basically a really precise Moz door. It depends on a good position, good angle, and then a well-timed jump with a successful Moz door, or long jump as I called it earlier. She's basically lining up on a specific part of this cog, because the cog where she's lining up is a slope, and then whenever you run and jump off of a slope, the game gives you a boost of speed as opposed to just running and jumping. So she wants to hold down and then jump right after holding down, and it'll give her hopefully a perfect amount of speed to successfully get the Moz door and get the height as well. It is pretty precise just because of the positioning. If you have a wrong position, you might go too low. If you jump too early, you won't get the speed. You'll just jump in place. If you jump too late, you won't get enough speed, or you might go too low. There's sort of a lot that goes into it. And then also there's the angle. You see her lining up with a specific part of the cog with throw aim and then doing a 180. Like I said, there is a lot that goes into it. For those that want a super in-depth explanation on it, Timber made a great video on YouTube, but we'll just see if she can get it. Give her a bit of quiet time just so she can focus.
I'm just making sure you have enough time to get in that wonderful explanation.
Yeah, of course.
Anyone who speedruns this game will tell you that cog skip is one of those things you either get at first try or 17th try, and there's really not much in between.
It's true.
Today seems to be a 17th try kind of day for me. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, there's like a good amount of history with it. There was cog skip, which was a different way of getting to wings early. But then cog skip became a thing, and so you skip cog skip, and it's a lot of skipping.
Not quite. Okay, second reload here. There tries the charm. The nice thing about this trick is that it saves so much time that you can literally miss it like 20 times and still be saving time. So it's basically what makes this route work. Our alternative is watching a 45-second cutscene, spending 2 minutes running down a little tunnel, and then we don't have wings, so that's gonna lose us another like 5 minutes.
Yeah, getting wings early for all of GSI is really huge. Like she said, it's what makes the route work. You got this.
Don't go way too early there. All right, now I'm getting a bit stuck here.
This is also a good view of the default outfit, honestly, for a while, since we don't have it, so we can cherish it for a tiny bit.
Very true, very true.
Would you like a donation in the meantime?
Yeah, for sure. Anything you got?
Absolutely. So we had $25 from Amy saying, looking forward to the Tears of the Kingdom run. Me too. I've been super excited about this one. Legend of Zelda is amazing.
There.
Cloud is amazing. It's so
Finally
good.
got up.
Heck yeah, great job.
And this one is apparently more difficult to get. We'll take the safe powder on the wall here. Okay, we're free finally from Clog Skip Jail.
Whatever gets the job done.
Right. So now, like Nuki mentioned, we're going to be making our way up top. One of the biggest benefits of performing that tough trick is that we get early access to the outside where we can grab our first key pickup, which is the wings. So we're just going to be doing a little bit of movement here. Now, enjoy this running while you can. I mean, we're performing a little trick here called crouch throw sprinting. Well, you see he's like crouching and putting his sword in and out. It's kind of like, it's basically a stamina conservation method. It's very input heavy and intensive. It only saves probably like 5 to 10 seconds over the course of the run. The reason being because we're not going to be doing much running after this. We're going to be basically flying for the entire rest of the run here.
No spoilers.
All right, and now we've got another cutscene to enjoy the beautiful title card here as we can pan out and see the great sky island that we're going to be zooming all over for the next 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I guess I can mention that even though Japanese won the language bid war, funnily enough, English is actually the fastest language for categories that do dungeons, the fastest voice acting language. And then categories that don't do them, like any percent or GSI or Master Sword, the fastest is actually Russian. I'm not sure, Cloud, does the text change anything?
It does. The fastest text ends up being Russian for those categories where you don't do dungeons. Most of them, I mean, there's some exceptions,
right.
but that is just because of less text boxes. So if you've seen any percent runners playing in Russian, that's why. Although the time save is incredibly minimal. It's 1.1 seconds or so after English. So don't hold your breath. Don't blink here. We're going to be already performing and jumping into one of the most powerful glitches in the entire run here. So there's really no good way to explain this except for just saying that I'm going to take that tree branch, glue it to my feet. We're going to go back in time. Oh.
Right, so basically what Cloud's going to do is she's going to mess around with the menuing a bit, and it's going to smuggle this tree branch to Link's feet. And basically what smuggling it to Link's feet does is it... okay, you're setting it up at Temple of Time, correct?
Yeah,
it's going to be
I'm doing the easy one here. So we're going to go back to this autosave. And this is another huge reason that we brushed over before why we performed that out of bounds clip. We want to preserve an autosave here because with this branch that I glued to my feet, it'll pass through a load here. And now we can see if we pick it up, it gives us access to the weapon inventory. And what is that next to the tree branch in my weapon inventory? That's the Master Sword. Well, almost, not quite. But we're going to be performing a similar setup here.
Yeah, and the message not found is actually an unbreakable Master Sword. And doing that same smuggling, we're going to be able to smuggle it back into our hard save that we just made. So we essentially just stole the sword from the intro.
The the solution here, that cutscene where the sword broke, in the game, you gotta go complete all the shrines, upgrade your stamina, go find the Master Sword, right? But instead, we're just going to... Where'd it go?
Uh-oh.
Time to break out the classic line. That's never happened before.
Yeah.
I have never seen it just disappear like that. All right, well, we're gonna get to set that up again.
Need me to take over for a bit, Cloud?
Yeah, go ahead and give us something.
Absolutely. So just to shout out a couple donations that we've gotten, there's been loads of love coming in already. We have $50 from SR Tapper, who says, "Woo, good luck, Cloud. I know I've said this before, but thank you for being a pillar of the Tears of the Kingdom community. And it is incredibly awesome to see you always slaying and putting on incredible runs for these events. It has been a pleasure to work with you, and thank you for representing our community." Thanks so much for your donation.
I appreciate that.
And we are counting down the thousands until we hit that 82K mark. All right, everybody, we want to see Pokemon Snap, and we need $5,702 left in order to get that bonus game. So can we work together? I was talking with Cloud earlier, and, I think we would really love to hear your Legend of Zelda hot takes in donations.
Yes, please. And we will judge you harshly for your sins. No.
Or we'll be
judge
nice.
You very harshly. No.
We'll be kind. If anything,
nice.
I've got hotter taste than some of you guys, I might imagine.
Heck yeah. So we would love to hear your hot takes. Please hit us with them. I'll start. I don't really like Majora's Mask, and I've offended a few people with that one. I would love to hear your hot takes.
That is a very hot take. Wow, coming right out of the gate swinging.
That's very hot.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I'll go next. Skyward Sword is objectively the best 3D Zelda.
Ooh, okay.
I think that's probably a bit of a hot take as well. Personally, I would say Twilight Princess.
I'd say it's tied with Twilight Princess. I always say it's tied, but I left out the tied part
You're
to
on
make
thin
it more
ice
spicy.
for now.
We have caused commotion between people on couch right now already, and I love it.
All right, so that little mishap is out of the way. And as you can see there, we've got the Master Sword successfully on our backs. So now we're going to be performing yet another difficult trick. The early game for this category is super rough. Most of my resets, probably 95% of them, come within the first 30 minutes. So from here on out, we're going to be playing a game of The Floor is Lava. And Nuki, if you want to go ahead and explain why that is, we're going to be trying to avoid touching the floor for the next couple minutes here.
Yeah, so we want to avoid touching the floor because we want to keep this position up top. Basically, by keeping the position up top, whenever we void out, it's going to let us go all the way back up top. So we're going to go touch the Temple of Time door, and then we're going to void out, and it's going to put us all the way back up there. And then it's going to give us an easier and faster route to go to Ascend. And also, we're going to kill this little guy with the wing.
Thank you for your sacrifice. We salute you.
He will be missed.
What's a Zelda game without a little bit of vehicular manslaughter, am I right? Alright, we're going to be extra safe here. There we go. So the reason we have to do this is because we can't get into the shrines before we activate the door, the Temple of Time here. So what we're going to do, like Yuki said, is what called a void out warp or a void warp. Just going to dive off the edge here, and it looks like we did everything correctly. So we're going to go right back up to the very top. Looks like we got it based on that long load. Yep, and there we are. And as you can see, we've already got the Master Sword with us. Although I don't remember if we touched on it earlier. This is not actually the real Master Sword. This is a copy of the Master Sword that is somehow actually better than the real Master Sword because it is unbreakable, and we can perform another glitch later on to manipulate its stats to basically triple its damage output. and beyond. So this is going to be a very valuable tool for us. As you guys know, the weapon system in Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild, everything breaks. Nothing's unbreakable, unless of course you perform a glitch to travel back in time and bring the sword to an alternate dimension. The lengths we have to go to overcome the strict weapons durability system.
Yeah, I actually didn't think about the whole stats thing because you can't drop the Master Sword, but we'll get into that later. Just making our way up to Ascend. Ascend
Grabbing a few supplies along the way here.
Yeah.
Those bombs, by the way, are going to be incredibly important. If you've watched basically any Zelda speedrun, you know that bombs are an incredibly useful tool throughout the entirety of the series. Tears of the Kingdom is no different, and we're going to be using it to perform some, or to facilitate, I should say, some rather cool movement glitches coming up soon.
Yeah,
and if we're quick enough, we can ink the cold damage here. Looks like we're good.
Ascend is where it gets spicy.
That might be putting it mildly. If you guys haven't seen this glitch before, that's coming up here. This is a fun one. It's quite whimsical, I would say.
Do you want me to go ahead and explain it?
Actually, you probably should start now, because it's a mouthful.
Yeah, so basically, we're going to be doing that same smuggling thing we did with the tree branch, but instead of doing it with the tree branch, we're going to be doing it with a bow. And basically, doing it with a bow will be able to activate a glitch called Arrow Smuggle Flight, which is caused by that bow being desynced from Link's model. And without arrows, we won't be entering bullet time. And this altogether, we won't have bullet time, and then the glitch will allow Link's jump slashes to be canceled on the first frame. And then we can chain those jump slashes together by pulling out bow and then tapping jump slash in a very steady rhythm. It's a lot harder than it may look, or maybe it does look hard. You'll see in a second. But basically, by chaining all these jump slashes together, we're going to be able to get either really long distances of horizontal movement or slow vertical movement. So here in Ascend is actually one of the only uses where we're going to be using it for vertical movement. So hopefully all things go well. And
basically, TLDR, we press a bunch of buttons and then Link can fly.
Yeah. Pretty much. We fly with a bow with no arrows. So, fingers crossed. Acha focus.
Good setup. First try.
I love that so much.
All right, a little bit high for safety, and there we go. So you see, the bow was stuck to Link's feet. That's what we call a drop smuggle. And that setup that we do is called quick drop smuggle because it's quick, as the name implies. But we're going to pass through a loading zone at the end of this shrine here, which will transfer Arrow Smuggle into a semi-permanent state, which means that it won't be on our feet anymore, which is good because we don't want to accidentally pick it up or we lose the Arrow Smuggle state. And we need it for the next 30 minutes or so of the run. Basically, this is going to be like our paraglider at home. We can use it to fly and carry our momentum, like Nukie very well explained. We can use it to cancel fall damage as well. So up until we get the paraglider, we're going to be heavily relying on this glitch for basically everything that we need to do. However, if we die or we have to reload a save, we will also lose Arrow Smuggle. So we're going to try our best not to do that.
Thankfully, it's not too hard to set up, but like Cloud said, whenever you first do it, it's under your feet and you can pick it up really easily. So she'd have to either warp, but we can't warp, so she'd have to enter in our loading zone, and it's a bit of fiddling to get it all back.
Exactly. So there's our first shrine, Ascend, and now we're going to be making our way directly to Fuse. Although we do have one more little trick to perform on the way there, what we call battery throw or battery trick shot. This is a fun little tech that I helped develop sometime last year. It's a very fun. Nukie, if you want to explain it.
Yeah, so she's going to get over to this ledge and then do a lineup while holding a wing orb. And then she's gonna throw down and throw it, and it's gonna fly all the way down and boop the energy cell construct on the head, and it'll activate the dialogue. And you can see she got it. So now we're getting the dialogue for the energy cell, even though we're 500 meters above it. And we got the energy cell, and now we can just fly to fuse without going down. It's very, very neat. And then you're gonna go for it? Okay. We're gonna do some flying.
Height looks good. Angle looks pretty good too, actually. Tap on here. Perfect. There we go. Right to the shrine.
Nice.
Really well done.
So the time saved from performing that battery trick shot that Nukie explained is if you don't get it from that construct there or another construct that's in a far off area, after you complete your second shrine, they kind of give it to you by default. It's basically like a forced key item. But the cutscene that we get after the shrine is much, much longer. So doing that trick saves about 18, 20 seconds or so if you get a quick lineup, which I did. So we're going to be saving a nice chunk of time there by hitting that trick.
Yeah, and as she mentioned earlier, there's a lot of ways to fall damage cancel, but with arrow flight, it's actually really easy. You just pull bow, jump slash, and then dive. And you saw at the end, she got it. If you don't get it, you splat, and we went through how bad that is. So hopefully no splatting.
So inside of Fuse here, we're gated a bit by the door with the key on it. So we're going to be doing a little bit of prep here. Getting in some bomb dupes. Oh, had to tap out there a bit because it was going to blow up, but we're good. We got our bomb back.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
Would you like an update on some donations?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, awesome. So I just want to shout out the great work we are all doing. We have $5,652 remaining for our bonus game. So let's break it down into little doable chunks, okay? Can we hit 77,000 as a starting point? We're gonna work in increments. Less than $700 for that one. So let's push for it. Getting us even closer to that amount are donations like this $35 from MC, who says, "I always love seeing the wonderful Cloud and Nukie on my screen. Can't wait to see this game be absolutely broken apart. Good luck on the run." And Shark Cat says trans rights. Woo! Thanks, MC.
Thank you so much. So what we did there is we duplicated a shield with a quick little turnaround. Well, that glitch will come back later, so no time to explain. I've never seen the shield fly so far away before, though. Very fun. Now we're just doing another arrow fly to hop over a cutscene trigger. Saves about 10 seconds there.
Very nice. Also, we completely glanced over how easy duping in this game, or in this version, I should say. You just, while you're midair, it's called midair sort duping. Just while you're midair, whether that's Minaru gliding or doing a shield jump, you hold a bunch of items, you sort and exit the menu on the same frame, and it just dupes them all.
Okay, so here we've got one of the toughest flights of the run. Going to be doing a bit of a normalized setup to get us in position here. No worries, we can swim and void out and retry this one for free.
Yeah, it's okay.
But yeah, this
like
normalized setup is designed to put us right in front of the door of the next shrine that we'll be heading to. Hold your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And with this one, we want to gain height. And for arrow flight, gaining height means you need to do faster reps. Okay, we're going to have to reset our position here by going back inside the shrine and coming out. I thought it would put me back in the same spot, but I guess not quite.
I thought it did too. Oopsie. That's okay. Like I said, airflight is very rhythmic based. The faster rhythm you do, the more height you'll get. But it is just really tricky. Even if you if you go early on the Y press, then you do a jump slash, and that's all sorts of bad. It could be worse if she does it over land. It could be death unless she does really cool saves, which she's pretty good at. But I'll let her focus for this flight because it's really long.
And there we go, just like that.
Nice.
All the way to the shrine. Yeah, part of what makes that flight so tricky is there's a couple spots where there's really bad lag spikes. That's one thing we haven't touched on when it comes to version 1.0 is the lag is significantly greater. Apparently the next patch also had quite a bit of a performance update, especially here on Great Sky Island, where we've got the game's just trying to load in so much stuff as we're zooming over the world. And if you get a lag spike there, it can eat your input and cause you to fail the flight, as Nuki mentioned. But so we gotta take it pretty cautiously there, but we made it here. Now, inside the shrine, we're gonna be doing, you guessed it, yet another arrow flight to skip the puzzles in here. This time, we're gonna be doing what's called a ledge bomb, which just means bomb jumping off a ledge. And it gives us basically a nice angle to maximize our horizontal momentum. So we're gonna do a little bit of a setup here, semi-normalized with a visual cue to try to make it all the way to the end of the shrine here. Pretty good launch. Oh, that was a very good launch, actually.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really speedy. These can vary quite a bit, so you can see that one was really fast.
And if you're a fan of the classic Zelda puzzle jingle, there you get 3 back-to-back in close succession. That's one of my favorite. This is probably my favorite shrine in the run, just because it's so satisfying to get that fast flight like we just did.
Mm-hmm. Also, can we just get some claps? Because this stuff is actually really hard, so I would love if we could get some claps for Cloud. She's doing great.
Thanks, I appreciate it. So our next objective here is we're going to be heading to the Temple of Time to obtain our last ability, Recall. Then we're going to head up to complete the last shrine, which is Recall. And any wild guesses as to how we're going to get there? If you guessed Arrow Smuggle, you'd be correct. We have yet another setup, this time off a wing. Perfect. This one puts us right by the door.
Very nice.
That one's pretty tough too. You have a buffer of about 1, maybe 2 if you're going slow. Extra reps you can go in before you just completely shoot off the far side. That's happened to me many times.
Yeah, the first time I did that in a run, it happened to me as well. It doesn't even save that much time. It's like 2 seconds, right?
2 or 3 seconds, and then you also don't take any damage, which the other setup you do take damage. So that's a nice bonus as well. It gives you a bit more cushion.
But yeah, there's still lots of tech left to explain. So if you guys think this is crazy, just look out for post GSI. We're almost done. We only have one more shrine.
Probably about 4 or 5 minutes left of GSI. And actually, we've got a bit of text to mash through. So, Lanaruse, if you've got any donations for us or anything you'd like to, feel free to chime in.
Absolutely. So, reminder to everybody, we are working towards that Pokemon Snap bonus game, and we need $82,000. We're going to run $1,000 at a time, rather, and we are working towards that 77 is a good starting point. So let's keep going, everybody. For example, we had $50 from Victor Nupp, who says, "Been looking forward to this run all week. You're incredible, and good luck on the run." Thanks so much for your donation. We also had $25 from Lady Antisocial, who says, here to add towards getting that Pokemon Snap bonus game. Keep being awesome, everyone. Hey, you too. Thanks for being awesome and supporting that bonus game. We just need $5,577, so let's take this one block at a time and use the power of teamwork to get to take pictures of more Pokemon, okay? I'm excited.
Thank you so much. And then that dialogue we just mashed through, we're just unlocking the power of fast travel, which is going to come in handy, excuse me, over several points of the run. And now we thankfully don't have to do cog skip again. We can just jump up right here.
Way easier than cock skip.
Just a little bit. Hopefully I won't get that bomb jump 17th try as well. Alright, we finally made it to the last shrine. Excuse me, pardon me. And this will be the last shrine that we'll be completing for the run. No more shrines are required for the rest of the speedrun once we get off Gray Sky Island. And once again, if you haven't guessed, we're going to be cheesing it completely with Arrow Smuggle. Using those stairs right there as a nice little launch pad for us to skip all these slow rafts. Who wants to do things the intended way? Come on, this is a speedrun.
It's speedy and the cool way.
You go quite fast there to make that early clock hand cycle. Although if you miss it, you can recover pretty quickly. If you're just like a touch late, it's not that big of a deal. But now we have finally completed all of the remaining objectives. We need to get out of the tutorial and finally play the rest of the game. But we're not quite done with Arrow Smuggle yet. We've got to head back to TOT. There's a couple more flights, and then we'll be doing a couple surface flights down below. After we leave Great Sky Island, our next objective is going to be to head directly to Lookout Landing to start off the Regional Phenomena quest and get the paraglider. Anyone who's played this game casually might remember that they don't give you the paraglider straight out of the tutorial like Breath of the Wild does. So we've got to do a little bit of extra legwork to get it. It's going to be a bit more before we're reunited with our precious item. But also, we'd be required to get it anyways because the Regional Phenomena quest is required to complete 2 of the dungeons, being Spirit Temple and Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, and I guess speaking of castle, while you're making your way back to the end of GSI, I can ask chat a question. What order did you do the dungeons in your casual playthrough? I'm actually very curious. I'm sure there will be a lot of different answers.
Very good question there as well. So there, I misinputted and I did a parry instead of a jump. So I was quite low and I wasn't going to make it, but we can just turn around and give us a little bit more wiggle room to make it all the way back to the door.
That's a good backup.
But yeah, for me, I did Wind Temple first because I feel like the game kind of pushes you there, yeah. And then I went to Lightning because it was close. I was going to do Water next, but then I remembered that in my Breath of the Wild first playthrough, I did Fire last, and I didn't want Fire to be last twice, so I did Fire third and then Water, and then I went to Spirit Temple.
Yeah, I think I did
Spirit Temple.
Yeah. I think I did. I don't know when I did Castle. I know I did Wind, Water, Fire, Lightning, then Spirit, but I don't know when Castle was. My memory doesn't go that far back. It was like a year ago already. It's crazy.
Time really flies, doesn't it?
It does.
Really
I can't believe this game's already been out for almost a year and a half.
Do you want to hear something else that's kind of fun?
I would love to. Ooh.
So we just had another incentive open, and I think the chat's really gonna like this one. So we have a feed the dog incentive. So for $2,000, if we meet this incentive, we will feed the dog at New Seren Stable. Now, we need $2,000. You have to select that incentive if you want your donation to go towards it. But hey, 2-for-1 deal. You can send in your donations, select the Feed the Dog incentive, and work towards our Pokemon Snap bonus game. So Let's do that. We had $25 from Slush07 come in as well, saying, "Hi, Cloud. I'm glad you get to show off this run for the TOTK community. Good luck."
Thank you for the update. Yeah, if you guys want to feed the dog and allow us to go for the all dungeons plus 1 dog treasure world record, make sure to get those donations in. So here we're going to be landing on the surface to get a couple more pickups. These are rockets, which are going to be our next super useful device. We're going to duplicate a couple of them quickly here. Right now, Nukie is probably going to be a good time to start explaining what Pocket Rocket is for those that might not be aware of this incredible glitch that we have access to.
Yeah, so Pocket Rocket is a glitch that allows us to infinitely jump with a rocket shield by using fuse entanglement. Basically, fuse entanglement is a glitch that allows your shield to have an effect on an object, like it's fused to the shield, even if the object, even if the object's still existing and it's not actually tethered to the shield. So we just attached the rocket to a shield, but we swapped shields and then we attached it to the weapon as well. So now it's on the weapon, but it's also on the shield. So now we can just infinitely jump with that shield until it breaks. And it's really, really cool and fast, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you'll be seeing a lot of that glitch throughout the rest of the run. Here, since Pocket Rocket is tied to the durability of your shield in version 1.0, which we're playing on, we gotta use this sparingly because these wooden shields only have 12 durability at full. So right now we're just using it to give us some momentum for Aeroflight to replace those bombs. And now we're finally arriving. This is your captain speaking. Prepare for our descent into lookout landing. Tray tables in the upright position, etc. And we're gonna have to perform a fall damage cancel here. There we go.
Oh.
Now we've got to talk to the ladies. We're gonna queen out with Pura and Joshua a little bit as they ask us where the heck we've been. And they're going to give us a little bit of exposition that we're going to skip right through because it's skippable, which, thank you, Nintendo. If I had to watch that cutscene again, I might cry. But from here, we're just going to be doing a couple of quest-required items to access the paraglider with another key item pickup along the way.
Yeah, so as she said, in 1.0, Pocket Rocket is tied to the durability of the shield, and most shields in this game suck. They don't have good durability. Pocket Rocket, not that amazing. But thankfully, in this game, they made the Highland shield really easily accessible. It's just down by the docks in Hyrule Castle. And we have to go to Hyrule Castle anyway because we have to go see fake Zelda spoilers. And so we're gonna go progress that quest, and then we're gonna grab a Highland shield. And then, you know, with 1.0 being so broken and all, we're gonna be making a lot of Highland shields. So we're gonna have Pocket Rocket for the whole run, just at our fingertips.
Can I share something super exciting quickly as well?
Please do.
So we had a $1,000 anonymous donation come in. Thank you so much.
Wow,
and
that's
that
incredible.
also means that we're over halfway to feeding the dog already and sitting at $77,527 out of the $82K that we need. So we are making swift work of this, everybody. Let's feed that dog. Let's get Pokemon Snap. Let's use the power of friendship and teamwork to meet these incentives and support Malala Fund, shall we? Good work, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So here we got just some more exposition. Don't worry about who that was. We'll get there later. Spoilers. So now he's just going to tell us to go back to Pura, although I used an extra shield booster, so we're going to have to do a little bit of a slower attack here. And just swap off for the time being. But we've got another... Sorry, got some interesting lag there. We're going to be damaging down this tree branch with a rocket on it to perform another glitch glitch coming up here called weapon state transfer. I mentioned earlier that we can use another glitch to buff the damage of the fake master sword that we have, and we're going to be performing that glitch in just a sec here. Alright, looks like we're good. And there's a lot of other menuing coming up here, so I'm going to focus up for these glitches.
Yeah, so basically we're going to make a copy of the Master Sword not found, the Unbreakable Master Sword. But as she said, it's going to have the stats of a rocket fused to it using weapon state transfer. Basically, like I said, just copies it with those stats, and then we're going to get the Highland Shield. And then also she's doing Zuggling, which Zuggling has a bunch of variants of it. And basically what it is just stacking equipment to link. So in this case, we're stacking a bunch of weapons. Dynamic Zuggling, which is this, is a kind of Zuggling that you can only get rid of by either throwing your equipped weapon, being shocked, or closing the game. So it's really useful that we can preserve the Zuggle, because usually with like other Zuggling, like map Zuggling, it's a lot easier to get rid of it. But with dynamic Zuggling, we can't get shocked with MNF or Master Sword Not Found in our hand. So having all these dynamic Zuggles stacked, we're going to be able to toggle what's known as overload. And overload, it leads into a lot of other broken glitches like duping equipment, like clipping with steering sticks, doing cart sliding, which we'll get into that later. That's a fun one. You saw that.
A lot of teasers and spoilers for some of our upcoming glitches. But yeah, thank you for taking over there. That menuing, oh my god, I have to concentrate quite a bit to not mess up there. Nukie mentioned the overload that we were setting up there. If we're off on our count at all, it's going to cause us huge problems. So I had to really focus up there and make sure the count was correct. So now we're just going to be heading back to Lookout Landing to get the paraglider. And as you can see with our Highland shields here, we can basically just fly infinitely with pocket rockets.
Yeah, so for Zuggling, usually you hit the overload limit at like 9 Zuggles. What? So if I believe she did 8 there, so we're 1 under the limit right now with dynamic Zuggles. If she went to 9, it would mean we're permanently, unless we get rid of the stack, obviously, it would mean we're in that overload state. And being overloaded all the time is actually bad because it can prevent us from doing a lot of things. And also, we want to toggleable, because whenever you're swapping weapons while overloaded, it's gonna desync them and it's gonna dupe them, and it's gonna be really, really annoying to manage. So having it toggleable is very useful.
Overload is such a powerful tool we have for the speedrun, but learning how to manage it is definitely a tough task. And it can cause you a huge headache, like Nukie explained. If things get messed up, your weapons get desynced, your stuff starts falling and clipping through the floor, and you lose it forever. Link's body parts start disappearing. Things get really creepy really fast. The game just stops working as intended. Well, not that we're really doing that much intended stuff in the first place.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But you know what I mean. So we've got a bit more cutscenes and text here. So Lana, if you've got anything for us right now, we'd love to hear it.
For sure. We are making such steady progress, well on our way to $78,000. Can we do that any second, everybody? Again, we're working to 82K for our Pokemon Snap bonus game. Words are hard sometimes. And we also only need $615 for our Feed the Dog incentive, where we will feed the dog. It's wonderful. Now, working towards that, we had $50 from Ovidio, who says, my pups, Sylphie and Roam, definitely don't want to see a dog go hungry. So here's to feeding the dog at the stable. Thanks so much for supporting the incentive. It's so good to see. Would you like some more?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, we have $10 from Sabo, who says, Ganonbork is a good boy and deserves to be fed. This is such a good run so far. Let's go, Cloud. Woo!
Thank you so much, everybody. That reminds me. So sometime last year, we ran a bit of a meme category for fun, all dog treasures. It's an official category in Breath of the Wild, but in Tears of the Kingdom, not quite. But basically, the objective is to go around and feed all the dogs at all the different stables. And I had like a points incentive on my channel for chat members to like adopt the dogs and name them and everything. It was very fun. I can't remember who owns the dog at the stable that we'll be going to. Might have to look it up after the run and let them know that their dog is now famous.
Also, I am obligated to say I want to see all the Woo posters, the Cloud Woo posters. I want to see them in full force.
So right here, just another quick dive down to her and Joshua. We won't be seeing them again for a while, so everybody say goodbye. But from here on out, we're going to be making our way to the first dungeon, and any guesses where we're going to be heading first? It might not be quite what you think if you're not familiar with the speedrun. Actually,
Yeah,
our first
really
dungeon
interesting.
is going to be Spirit Temple, which is normally the one they want you to do last.
Ooh, cool.
And there's a few reasons for that, but the biggest reason is just because of all the useful items that we get on the way to Spirit Temple. It's just very rich with resources. So now we've basically got most of the glitches that we want set up, and we're ready to start attacking the dungeons. Just a couple more things we need to get out of the way first. We're going to be grabbing some fairies for safety. We're going to be grabbing a large zonite charge for extra rocket power. We're going to be grabbing a fish for the Zora quest later. And we're going to be grabbing some very powerful weapons. And we're going to get to see our first test of our Zuggle stacks. So these 8 swords that I have glued to my hand, we're going to see them get put to use very soon here against one of the strongest enemies in the game.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Everything's good. It looked good to me.
Looked good to me as well. I have to count out loud because I'm just so brain dead when running sometimes. I will just like be looking at chat or something and just completely lose count. So I have to count out loud and really focus.
I lose count when paying attention. Don't worry about it.
So actually, I'd like to hear from chat. In a couple minutes here, we're gonna be fighting a white-maned Lionel, the second tier strongest Lionel in the game. And I would love to hear you guys' predictions on how many hits it's gonna take us to defeat the Lionel with our Master Swords.
It's a very interesting question. Before we do that, we're gonna stop by this island and get some fairies. Very kind of them to put fairies so close to GSI. I'm just gonna mid-air sword dupe for a few resources.
Would you like a few donations while we coast through the sky?
Yeah, we got a little bit of travel time for an in-flight announcement.
Awesome. Now time for your in-flight announcement from your flight attendant, Lanaruse. We have $615 remaining to feed that dog. So, hey, you want to see that? We don't let any dog go unfed here. We aren't those kind of people. So send in those donations, and it will go towards that incentive and our bonus game. Let's hit that 78K. We are so close to that, and that's 1,000 closer than we were before. So let's get at it. We had $50 from Misty, who said, feed the dog. And we also had $25 from Cyamphibian, who says, for the pupper food. So thanks so much to everybody who have been sending in some food. I like to see it in my mind as like representative of you really just bringing a bag of food to the donation station. So with every donation, I'll just keep piling up the bags of food for the dog next to me, okay? I got you.
All right, here comes the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you guessed 6, you were correct. That is our final total for how many hits it takes to kill a Lionel with all these extra weapons. Oh, I duped the fish by accident. Great fish. Little snack for later. Now we're going to be breaking arrow smuggle. Thank you for your service. There's a little bit of RNG here on the arrow count. We got the low count, so that's not quite what we were looking for, but we can still definitely manage. And that's a quick equipment desync dupe right there. I have to find where my my rocket holder went. The Lionel kind of slapped it into the next dimension. That's it.
Yeah, basically, basically with Pocket Rocket, so how we fuse the rocket to the shield, and then we change shields, so it actually fuses to a different shield, and then we fuse it to the weapon. Unless you zuggle the weapon, then if you swap weapons, the Pocket Rocket will disable. But by dropping the weapon, and then dropping the weapon and kill the Lionel, since we can't. I mean, we can kill it with the.
No way.
The
I got the
rocket.
mythical.
Oh my gosh.
The wing wedge here. I actually don't know where to ascend from this point. Oh, there we go. This should work.
That's so cool.
So what we're doing here is a strat called Early Mask Ascend. This is actually a glitchless strat that you could do on your casual file in any version. So by piloting a wing under and then ascending from off the wing, we can skip the 10 heart door requirement to access Minaru's Sage Mask. And that saves a ton of time, because otherwise we'd have to grab every heart container, do a bunch of shrines, and then come back here at the end of the run. But by doing that, it takes like 15 seconds, and we can just come right in here. And the wing is not supposed to get stuck there. I want to emphasize that is super rare, but it happened to me in practice like 2 or 3 times yesterday. You're supposed to just like really ascend it, but the game gave me a freebie there, so that was very, very nice. I'm not going to attribute that to my own skill.
The run is blessed.
So now we're going to be getting 2 more Zone 9 devices, and these are also both incredibly powerful and are going to save us a ton of time. First here is a steering stick. If you've watched any Tears of the Kingdom speedrun, you'll know how crazily broken the steering stick is. And the second is the cart, which we're going to be using for that magic carpet glitch that if you saw my interview with Kung Fu Fruit Cup earlier, we're going to be showing that off in the run. And now we're going to be making our way into the depths here on this little wing. And the wing ride is a nice time to get in some device duplications for free. And as we're traveling here, Lana, if you've got anything for us.
Absolutely. Time for another in-flight announcement. Please keep your arms and legs inside the wing at all times, because we only need $350 more to feed that dog. We have passed $78,000, which means we are rocketing over to $79K. Let's keep it up. With the help of a $200 anonymous donation, thank you so, so much, as well as $50 from Pitman Lionhouse, who says, puppy noms, less than 3. Agreed. Now, we also had someone answering the call for our Zelda hot takes from earlier. I want to keep hearing those, by the way.
Yeah, let's keep them coming.
Yeah, we've got $15 from Slush07 coming back to say, my controversial Zelda take is that Ocarina of Time is extremely overrated and Wind Waker is underrated. Good luck on the run, Cloud. Let's feed that dog.
Oh, I don't know if I can take that good luck in good faith.
That's a true take. I'll say it.
Well, I mean, if you speedrun 100% SRM, you might not like Ocarina of Time anymore. As a casual player, I love it. But that could also just be the nostalgia speaking. I'm willing to admit that I might be a little biased, as that was my first Zelda game, actually.
I have no nostalgia, so it works the opposite way. I wouldn't say it's overrated. I would just say it's Ocarina of Time.
It's rated. It's not under or over. It's just rated.
It's just rated. I do agree with Wind Waker being underrated, though. That's a take I can get behind.
I actually may have a hotter take for you if you want.
Oh, no.
This one shocks me, but
all right,
okay.
Keep it coming.
We have $100 from Smurgledurf, who says, my Zelda hot take. Four Sword Adventures is extremely underrated and the best 2D Zelda game so far. But that's only if you have all the extra hardware to play with 4 people. Okay, thoughts? Thanks for your donation. That is a hot take to me.
You know what? I think I can kind of get behind that a little bit. I've actually never played Four Swords Adventures, but from what I've seen, and from a speedrun stance, the speedrun for FSA is super, super cool.
It is really cool. It was my first Zelda, so I'm just gonna agree with it. I can understand it.
Love it. All right, we got some supporters of that one. Good, good.
I might not go far enough to say as the best 2D Zelda. That might be pushing it in my book a little bit, but it's definitely looks like a very cool game. It's probably better than the base Four Swords. But we don't need to get into that. So
it's hard to say. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to jump back into the explanation here for what we're going to be doing in Construct Factory.
I will just say it's hard to say it's the best 2D Zelda when Minish Cap exists. You can go ahead.
For sure. So Construct Factory is super fun. If you guys remember from your casual playthrough, you've got to take these 4 boxes that contain the limbs to Minoru's construct body through a series of long winding puzzles. However, I am happy and beyond thrilled to announce to you guys that we're going to be cheesing every single last puzzle. We're not going to do a single puzzle. We're going to go in, we're going to grab the part, we're going to march right back out the front door. The game doesn't want you to do that. It tries to close the door behind you, but we're going to use a glitch known as equipment desync to prop the door open and just march right out the front. And it's going to be super fun. This is one of my favorite dungeons in the speedrun, actually. It might be number 2 for me. But we'll show you guys what that looks like here.
Spirit Temple casually took me forever, so I am so glad that these skips exist.
Should be good.
Yeah, looks
The
good.
setup there is not super precise, but there's not a whole lot of room for error. But we'll know if we got it in just a second here. And we're good. There we go. So now we can just march the
Nice.
box right out the front. And you're going to see why we grab those bright blooms all the way back on Gray Sky Island. The bright blooms not only help us to find the boxes better, but they also increase the despawn radius, or decrease the, I don't know what the proper term is. Basically, the box will stay loaded in even though it's further away when we have a bright bloom seed attached to it. Which if we don't attach one here, it means that as we go and grab the next part, it'll unload and we'll have to do that whole setup again. Hop on for a little free ride. On our way to the next terminal. And we'll check later and see if that angle was good. But with the bright bloom seed, it should be fine no matter what.
Right, and if you're familiar with Tears of the Kingdom runs, you might be thinking like, why doesn't she auto build cancel it? But this route, we don't have auto build. We don't get auto build. Never heard of it.
Good point. We actually haven't touched on that yet, but that's part of what makes version 1.0 so fast. Is it skips a 2.5-3 minute detour to go get auto build, which is basically the linchpin for the old route on version 1.1.1, as it allows you to do movement glitches and clips and escort items. It's basically a catch-all auto build cancel for that route. But skipping that gives us a free 2.5-3 minutes in the run, which is very, very useful because we're going to need all the help we can get. So this one worked as well. We're just going to march this one out the front door as well.
Would you like
Pick up
another
our
quick
stuff.
in-flight announcement?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so this flight comes with a couple things. First off, a snack is provided to you while you are on this flight, but only if we get another $140 and the snack is actually for a dog. So we are under $200 needed to feed the dog, along with some wonderful help, $50 from Clarinet Hero, who says, "Good dog." Thank you so much for supporting that. I do want to shout out that we also provide a meal on this flight in the form of a bonus game taking place after the run Again, we are over $78,000, but the run is already a third of the way over, and we still need, quick math time, $3,692. So let's work together. Every dollar counts, and we can use the power of teamwork yet again, as they do with all the sages in this game, to get our bonus game. So let's work together, friends. We also have another hot take coming in, $10 from Ragnarokette, who says, scalding hot take, Oracle of Seasons / Ages are actually the best 2D Zelda. Okay. Thanks so much for your donation.
I'll sit this one out. I've never played them.
Interesting take for sure. I've never played Seasons. I have played Ages. That game, I will say it was the most frustrating of all the 2D Zeldas, but I did really enjoy the game. I love the character of Nehru in that game. So again here, just rinse and repeat with all 4 depots. We're going to be performing the same equipment desync glitch to prop the door open and march out the front.
It's daylight robbery.
Gotta do whatever it takes to go fast. Something that's so cool about this game too is there's just so many like exploits and glitches and such. This isn't even the original way that we cheesed the construct factory. There's at least 1 or 2 other ways that you can prop the door open with glitches. This one just happens to be the fastest by a small margin. Alright, so I'm not sure about the lineup here, so we might want to babysit this one a bit. That should be fine. Perfect. We wanted to land in the water and let the river carry it towards the main platform for us.
Tears of the Kingdom is quite special because I feel like for every version, it almost feels like you're watching a different game. All the versions are so unique. For those who weren't around whenever Tears of the Kingdom came out, this game had a really explosive start. The glitch discoveries were very, very quick, and so that's it works sort of as a detriment in a way, because Nintendo was like, for every 5 glitches we found, it would be a new version. It happened like every 2 weeks, and it happened for a good month or 2. So in a way, it was a good thing. In another way, it was kind of bad. But I think it's really cool to me. I like seeing all the different versions and all being very unique speedruns.
Got a rebound there, barely within grabbable range. Perfect. We'll just go ahead and drop that there for a second. And with that, we are coming to the end of our first dungeon, Construct Factory. Well, technically, the real dungeon is Spirit Temple, but Spirit Temple is basically just a glorified boss room, so not much to be done there. Actually, in a minute here, we'll get to see our first implementation of the cart slide, or the magic carpet glitch that we'll be showcasing several times throughout this run. This one's going to be a bit of a modified setup and a bit of a modified slide, so it's not going to be as fast. We're looking for stability here for this flight.
Hey, Cloud, you want to hear something that did go fast, though?
I would love to.
The Feed the Dog incentive, because we met it.
Wow.
Thanks so much to everybody who worked towards that. So we will be feeding a dog today. And again, we are working towards that bonus game, so close to 78.5K. Keep up that great work, everybody. You are all amazing as we support Malala Fund.
Sounds great. All right, so we'll be doing that after Fire Temples, and that's our 3rd dungeon. So in between Dungeons 3 and 4, we'll get to go feed the dog. Thank you to everybody who contributed to the incentive.
Fortunately, this construct body you have built.
And please keep getting your donations in so we can see that Pokemon Snap. That bonus game is right after this.
Now hurry, Link. We must recover.
Would you like some donations in the meantime?
We probably have time for one quick one.
All right. We had $5 from Miss Missa saying, dog! There you go. Quick one. Thanks, Miss Missa. We appreciate your support.
Perfect, perfect. We're gonna be using Minoru to keep a couple items here. And now we'll be setting up our first cart line, so I'm just gonna focus for a bit.
Yeah, I'll let you focus first.
Do I need this? I think so. Alright, we're good. Sharp turn here. We may be experiencing some turbulence and obscured vision on this leg of our journey here. But don't worry, the captain knows where we're going. Right through a tree that we thankfully didn't hit.
Yeah, and so I guess I can try to explain that a bit. I'm not the best at explaining cart slides since they're still pretty new to me. But basically, there's two different setups. One of them for when we're able to toggle overload with the arrow. The arrow is what pushes us over. And then there's another setup for when we're one under the toggleable state. And Cloud can get into those more if she'd like, but I'll just go ahead and explain that. It essentially works by just drop smuggling a Royal Claymore with a cart attached to it. And then you drop a cart and you recall it, and then you get on the cart. And after you get rid of recall, the smuggled Claymore's collision, it's still there. So it starts pushing the cart. And then as we start moving forward, the collision of the Claymore is pushing into the cart even more. So the further we walk to the other end of the cart, it's going to go faster and faster. And then she starts using the bow aim to start steering the cart. She does it very slowly because if you do, the cart's very fragile. It's very shy. So if you do like very sharp turns, it's going to start doing flips, and we don't really like that.
I've got some pretty nasty Tony Hawk-esque kickflips on those things by messing up. But yeah, you basically nailed the explanation. So thank you for that. And now we get to test the power of our Zuggle stack here again. So we're going to be fighting our first boss, which is the Seized Construct. And Seized Construct is gated in such a way they want to force you to use Minoru's mecha mechanic. However, it's very slow, so we're just going to brute force it. This boss was designed to not be brute forceable, but obviously we have the power of 8 swords, so we're going to be taking down this boss very quickly.
We have the power of dog.
The power of dog.
We will not be able to force our way past its defenses. You must think of
Yeah, Zuggling in general makes a lot of the combat in this game very obsolete, I guess is the best way to put it.
Very trivial, that for sure. We're gonna be one cycling. Every boss has 2 phases, but we're gonna be one cycling every single phase. Ideally, if we get everything right here, to the point where the phase 2 transitions end up being longer than the boss fights themselves usually.
brought out more arms.
Another thing we didn't mention is that if you have an active weapon and you fuse a part to it, that fuse part applies to every weapon in your Zuggle stack. So that incredibly powerful Lionel part, that just got applied to each of our Master Swords individually. So that increases our damage by a large amount. I'm not a math person, so I can't do the calc for you. But it's a lot of damage. That's all I will say.
Probably more than we'll ever need, but that's the beauty of it.
We're just going to be doing a little bit of gear setup here before we finally finish out our first dungeon over an hour into the run. This is quite normal, actually. It takes us a lot of prep to get to this point. But there we go. That is our first dungeon, Spirit Temple, complete. And from here on out, we're going to be rushing the rest of the dungeons. We've got pretty much every pickup we need. So we've actually got quite a bit of cutscenes here too, so if there's any donations or readouts for us.
Absolutely. So fun update, everybody. We are sitting at $78,597 raised for Malala Fund. And if we want to see Pokemon Snap, which, may I remind you, is the game right after this, so time is flying, time is short, we need $3,402 more. So let's make swift work of that. Can we hit 79K right away? Let's work together. Let's get that 79K. We had $10 from Davilish come in saying, are we still doing Zelda hot takes? Phantom Hourglass introduced one of the best Zelda characters of all time, Captain Linebeck. Does anybody remember him? I love Linebeck, so listen.
I not only remember, but I completely agree with that take.
Yeah, right?
I completely agree with that one. Also, shout out to that one puzzle in Phantom Hourglass where you have to close your DS. I wonder how many people just solve that out of frustration. By putting the game down, rage quitting, coming back later, and open up your DS and bam, the puzzle's solved.
It's really the only way to beat Phantom Hourglass in general is just pure spite, honestly.
Oh, that is so accurate. Couldn't have said it better. What a fun game. We love Zelda.
We
Zelda's
do.
fun.
Would you like some more donations quickly too?
We're going to be setting up another glitch here and then we'll get into some more text, so maybe in just a second.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so she doesn't have toggleable overload, so we're using the setup where we're one under. She's going to be setting up in her cart slide here. It's going to be taking us to Zora's domain, hopefully. All things go smoothly. Hopefully our captain...
Yeah, this was the segment that we saw in the interview preview. So here we go. Some smooth sailing. And now since we're actually in the light, we can kind of get a better idea. I'll show you guys what the cart slide looks like from a distance here. A very fun, interesting setup, and my guy Link is just totally vibing, relaxed, focused, enjoying life. The wind blowing through his long, luscious locks as we zoom across the map into Zora's domain. But yeah, this has got to be one of, if not my favorite glitches in this game. Doing these magic carpet rides are so much fun. All right, we're gonna hit a blood moon in 3, 2, 1. There it is. I was a bit late, but so now we're heading into Zora's domain. We're just gonna do a little bit of exposition. The Zora's domain quest is notorious for having a lot of dialogue and a lot of characters with a lot of things to say. In the Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom community, we call it fish drama. So if you guys are fans of fish drama, you came to the right place. And now would be a good time for our donations, if we've got something.
Heck yeah. So we had $50 from Heldon Subret, who said, just ordered my Yeti merch, and now I've got to make sure we get this bonus game in the marathon. Indeed. Thanks so much for supporting that, Heldon Subret. Again, we have less than 3.5K to go. Making good work. Time is short. Every donation counts, and it supports a great cause in Malala Fund. So working together. We also had $50 from RWF, who just said, keep up the good work. Thanks so much, and thank you for donating to such a great cause. We appreciate you.
Sure.
Alright, so she's basically directing us where to find Sidon, the Zora Prince from the first game. He's gonna be our kind of companion for this entire segment. We're gonna go reacquaint ourselves. We've just got a lot of running back and forth, accomplishing different quest objectives. Nothing too crazy here, but through the use of Pocket Rocket, it trivializes the movement, which allows us to go a lot faster. And here I'm going to show off something that is quite common in Tears of the Kingdom speedruns. We're doing some lag reduction strats here. By looking up to avoid parts of the game below from loading in, we avoid a long stop, or what we call a world load, where the game just freezes for a few seconds while it tries to catch up and load everything in. So by angling the camera up there, we can prevent it from loading in and save us a few seconds in the run. And we'll be doing that in a couple places. In all dungeons, it's not really as applicable since our main movement method, those card slides, you're going so fast, there's nothing you can do to prevent the Worldles. They're going to come in whether you like it or not. But for Pocket Rocket, we can kind of try to mitigate that a little bit. And I put Minoru back in her little Pokeball there because actually I would love to hear your guys' take on which of the sages you like and dislike the most, because I can tell you without a doubt the worst sage is Minoru, and if you disagree, you have never seen a speedrun of this category. Minoru is so awful. She's just mean, I'll put it that way. Her construct always gets in the way. There's one part where we need her later in the run, but until then, I'm gonna put her away because for this entire section, she just gets in the way a lot. And there's actually a really kind of rare thing that can happen to you that happened to me in practice 2 days ago. So basically, if you, and this has to do with our overload state, if you ride a Minoru's construct while you have your bow out, the game treats that as like, basically you lose all collision and you'll clip through Minoru and into the floor. And not only that, but it's basically a guaranteed soft lock because Link will cull, because you fall down, the game thinks you're on Minoru still, but then since you're far away from where Minoru actually is, the game unloads it and tries to like put her back into Link's hand. And so since she disappears, you're attached to Minoru, the game thinks you're on Minoru, the game makes you disappear too, and that's it. You just get Thanos snapped into a pile of dust. That happened to me in practice yesterday. And if that happens, the only way to fix it is to close the game and reopen, which means we have to redo our entire Zuggle stack again. So just for safekeeping, I just put her away for now.
And I will just say casually, they're so annoying. I put them all away so fast.
It's like herding cats. They get in your way until you actually need them, and then they just run away. They're nowhere to be found.
I don't think I ever use them outside of their dungeons. I wish there was more like things you needed them for in the overworld, but they're just
True.
really isn't.
Cool. But I will qualify or clarify and say I do like Minoru as a character. Just in the game, I find her sage to be quite annoying.
Okay, so Cloud, if I'm understanding correctly, we want people to donate with their hot sage takes.
Sure, and keep the hot Zelda general takes coming too as well.
Heck yeah.
We just want to hear your opinions and celebrate the fun times and commiserate the annoying times.
Would you like a hot take in the meantime?
Yeah, let's go for it. Got some more just busy work here.
Absolutely. We had $10 from Anonymous who says, I wish Dead Hand and Gomez were in more than one game. They would have fit so well in the depths. My hot take is that they're better mini bosses than Dark Link. Ooh, thanks for your donation.
I definitely agree with Dead Hand. You know, I guess we have the Gloom Hands in Tears of the Kingdom, right? That's somewhat similar. They kind of grab you and throw you around and such. And I find them to be just as creepy.
I also want to take this moment to say I don't want to admit how long it took me to find that darn teardrop.
Oh man.
Oh no, I don't blame you.
No shame at all. Same here.
It was brutal.
That actually brings up an interesting point in terms of speedrun routing. If you watched the interview preview earlier, I talked with Funku Fruit Cup about how routing in open world games such as Tears of the Kingdom can be a huge challenge sometimes. And this entire Zora section is a little bit frustrating from a routing perspective because everything is locked super sequentially behind the immediately preceding action. So like you have to talk to Yona before Sidon will talk to you. Then you have to talk to Sidon before you can repair the slate. Then you have to repair the slate before you can get the King Scale, which you need to shoot the arrow, which you need to access the waterworks to open the waterfall and get to the water temple. It's a long drawn out process. But that item right there, the King Scale, if there was any other method that we could get it in game, we could actually skip like 80% of this quest line. But unfortunately that King Scale is only like basically a quest item that the king gives you after running around and doing all his little errands. Oh,
I guess
try that one again.
is it worthwhile to touch on rocks?
We're getting a little bit into the weeds, but we've got time, so sure, why not?
Yeah.
Go for it.
You can probably explain it better than I can.
Okay, so rot, and we're not talking about Elden Ring. Rot is an acronym that stands for Reduced Overload Threshold. And basically, that kind of comes full circle to what we talked about earlier in Overload. The limit is 9, but we want to be 1 under at 8. So Reduced Overload Threshold is basically an idea that was found by a community member named Andre, super cool gamer who's been really helpful to the community. But he discovered this mechanic in the game called, well, he calls it Reduced Overload Threshold, which basically means there's certain actors or actions that you can take in game that will permanently or semi-permanently reduce that overload threshold by 1 or a set amount. And it's kind of weird, unexpected things, but what they all have in common is it's generally something that attaches itself to Link semi-permanently. So like when you launch from a tower and you get that little cable attached to Link, that counts as rot. Your overload threshold will be reduced. When you use the Earthquake ability where Link does the jutsu slam into the ground, that's rot, and you'll get reduced overload threshold. And the one applicable to this speedrun is Sidon's Bubble Slash ability. The first time you use it, you get permanent rot for the entire rest of your play session until you close the game. So that's why we under overloaded by just 1, because now that we've activated that bubble ability, and I know my count was right because Link's model didn't get desynced there, so we're all good on that front. But yeah, a long drawn out explanation to basically say it caused us a huge headache until that mechanic was discovered. Overload was very, very kind of an opaque concept that was hard to understand, why sometimes things wouldn't work, sometimes things would. But it's something that's really simplified the speedrun process for us. So definitely huge shout out to everybody in the Tears of the Kingdom speedrun community that's worked in glitch hunting, routing, all that stuff. We really appreciate you guys. So yeah, we're just going through some more quest busy work here. Was there anything else I wanted to touch on? Sorry for the info dump there. It's just kind of interesting how these hidden mechanics exist in the game that would never affect you in a casual playthrough, but in a speedrun it can frustrate you to the point of like pulling out your hair and such. But yeah, just a little bit more busy work here, so we've got time for another donation or two, I think.
For sure. So now it's time for a great update. We are at $78,622 right now raised for Malala Fund. Now check in with chat. Do we like charity? Do we like more fatals? Do we like longer marathon? If your answer is yes, 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 Lana, then you will want to send in those donations, because for $3,377 more, we can get a Pokemon Snap any percent run right after this. But it will not happen if we do not hit the bonus game. So can we all team up together? Can we all get a dono train rolling in to send in support for Cloud as she runs through Tears of the Kingdom? Get in those hot takes as always. Tell us all about what you love and don't love about the Legend of Zelda series, and we will not judge you too hard. And support Malala Fund all at the same time. But again, folks, we're almost an hour and a half into this run. The run is only just over 3 hours long of an estimate. So we need to keep at it so we can get this bonus game, okay? Let's do it, friends.
Come to me.
Oh, something we kind of glossed over is the armor that we're wearing. In this speedrun, Link gets to put on a shirt. But that's it. No pants, no hat, just a shirt. The reason being, we require a shirt armor piece because if you try to enter Gerudo Town, which is a required step later, without a shirt, they will send you straight to jail. You can walk in without pants, but if you have a shirt off, they do not like that. So we need a required armor piece, and the Zora armor here is also just incredibly convenient to not only obtain, you just get it for free by turning in that fish back there, but it also helps us to climb these waterfalls here on our way up to Water Temple. And speaking of Water Temple, if you haven't seen, a speedrun of this before, we're basically going to be cheesing everything again. I think there's only one terminal that we can't quite cheese, but it should be super, super fun. Water Temple is actually a bit tough. We're basically going to be seeing our first use of overload clips, clipping through the ground. If you're overloaded and you try to mount a steering stick, the game will just ignore the steering stick's collision and you'll just go right through the ground wherever you mounted the stick. So we're going to use that to our advantage to clip into the terminals from above with Sidon's ability active and just hit them that way instead of having to go through all the puzzles. There's something else that we haven't touched on, maybe a little bit briefly, but when it comes to the sages, some of them can be very, very difficult to get to do what you want them to do and show up where you want them to show up. And Sidon is one of the worst. All the other sages, they have things that we can do to guarantee an instant spawn. But for Sidon, not really. So it's taken a lot of experimenting and a lot of routing to figure out how to actually get him to appear where you want. A lot of the times, I mean, it's basically pseudo-random, but we've discovered consistent things that work to get him to appear where and when you want him to. Although they might not be 100% consistent, there still is some variance. But yeah, many runners, including myself, have worked very hard trying to figure this out. But this clip coming up here, the first one, if we can get this one, I'll be feeling good. The timing is super tight. And if we miss it, it's a lot of time loss.
Cherished kin. This is the source.
But a little bit of exposition here. We probably have time for one quick donation before we get into the shenanigans.
For sure. So I also have a challenge, but quick donation. We have $100 from Highly Incompetent, who says, discovered Cloud and Nukie not long ago and have loved their content. Thank you both for the hours of entertainment. Let's go, Cloud. You're killing this run. Indeed she is. Isn't she awesome? So I did promise a quick challenge as well. On our way to get this bonus game, I would love to hear something from all of you, in donations in particular. Let's tie this in a little bit. We want Pokemon Snap. We need 82K for that. I'm curious, in your opinion, who would be on Link's team as Pokemon and Zelda's team? What Pokemon would they have? If they had a team of 6 or something, fill me in. What Pokemon would they have? Would love to know. Send in those donations and keep us posted, will ya?
Thank you, thank you. So there we go. We nailed the clip, thankfully. That one always gets me stressing a little bit. But here, shooting these two enemies here, like you saw, that's one of our strats that we do to get Sidon to spawn in faster. So here for the second one, we can skip the orb puzzle just by propping the gate open, and then Sidon appears. I'm not going to bother activating him yet. I'll just have to get him up here. This spawn manip is actually brand new. I just discovered it like a couple days ago, so I'm still kind of working through the kinks on how to fully get it to work. So we'll just clip in first and then get his ability. Normally we want to get his ability and then clip so we can instantly activate it, but this one I haven't quite figured out how to get the cycle to work out, but thankfully he usually runs up fast enough. Oh, and by the way, we have to stay inside this cage because if we cross that line, the gate's gonna shut on us again. The game's got a nice little fail-safe that we can exploit. If you get inside the gate without completing the puzzle, it just opens the gate for you. So we're going to be exploiting that for each of these terminals.
It's very convenient.
Yeah, the hard part of Water Temple is basically over. We just got one more clip and then another puzzle that we'll have to do semi-casually. I say semi because we're not really truly doing anything casual in this playthrough. So we just get a pretty quick spawn here. 3 scope spans, perfect. And normally these clips are a lot tighter to time, but we do get a little bit of grace being that we're in the low gravity, which means we fall a lot slower. The reason these clips can be so tight is that if you cancel too early, you'll get stuck inside this ceiling, and your only choice is to either reload or warp away if you can. Or if you clip too far, you'll just continue falling. And sometimes you can hit a cooling zone, which will soft lock you. So you definitely gotta be careful to get the proper timing, although it's not super difficult for most of these clips. Here we can actually just shoot this side there and then... There he is doing a somersault. Quick spawn there. No clip required. You just finish out, and that is the last terminal. All that's left is the boss fight remaining.
Very
Nice
nice.
work.
Yeah, pretty clean water temple. This one's always fun to pull off and run because I came up with most of these strats myself. So it's very fun to kind of implement them and nail them. Now this boss fight here, it's a little tricky as we're low on resources, so we can't really miss too many shots. Especially our arrow count's getting pretty low, but everything goes well. We can also one cycle each phase of Muktarok here.
Yeah, arrows, funnily enough, is actually one of the only things that evades the brokenness of this game.
True.
From what I know, there's not a very easy way to just duplicate a ton of arrows. Like, for all the equipment and all the materials, we can just sort of push some buttons in our menu, but arrows, both in Breath of the Wild and Tears, at least for a while in Breath of the Wild. Nowadays, it's a bit different. But in these games, arrows was always a bit of a hassle, just because you can't hold them or anything.
And just like that, Water Temple is now complete. 2 down, 4 to go. Water
Would
Temple
you
is
like
definitely...
a hot
What's that?
take and celebration, Cloud?
Oh, please, hit me with it.
Okay,
Keep it coming.
so just updating that we're doing really great work. $3,292 remain, and we're so close to hitting 79K, so let's see it. We had a hot take come in with $25 from Jess, who says, hot take, I miss the way the Great Fairies operated in Ocarina of Time. Simple power-ups and health regen. All right, thanks for your hot take, Jess, and thanks for supporting Malala Fund.
I think I can
I
get behind
fully
that
agree.
one. Yeah. Okay, I will say, the way they handled the armor upgrades in Breath of the Wild was fine, but I felt scammed in Tears of the Kingdom. I upgraded a whole bunch of armor before I realized that they were charging me for each upgrade. It felt like microtransactions.
Oh
So I was like, this is like a dirty business tactic, but that's just in-game money, so I guess I don't really mind all that much.
I did
Yeah,
so
we-
much armor. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
I did so much armor upgrade in Breath of the Wild that I just didn't bother with Tears, so I didn't actually know that it charges you for per upgrade. That's lame.
We probably have time for one more readout.
For sure. We had $25 from Anonymous, who said, I am traveling and away from my usual comforts of home, but I feel lucky to be able to find a familiar comfort even here in my hotel room, watching beautiful, incredible humans play some of my favorite games with inspiring skill. Thank you for being amazing. It fills my heart so much. Thank you so much for your donation. It fills our hearts too. We appreciate you.
We could probably sneak in one more, actually. There's a lot of drama going on right now.
So much fish drama.
Congratulations to the happy couple, blah, blah, blah. Get out of here. I've got a
Right?
speed to run.
So we had $50 from Anonymous, who says, less than 3, less than 3, less than 3, and less than 3 right back at you. We love seeing those donations come in. Again, reminder now that we are over pretty much the halfway mark of our run, and Pokemon Snap is coming up next. So we must work together. Every dollar counts. Let's get that bonus game, okay, friends? You're doing so amazing.
So now here we're going to be heading over to Goron City to start off the Buying Your Temple questline with another magic carpet ride. So tell me, Princess, when did you last let your heart decide? Bit of a sharp turn here. Oh no, we might have to reset this one up. Yeah, no worries. Get a quick save spawn in here. Sidon is nice to have for the fire region because his bubble ability gives us protection from the overbearing heat. But we have so many fairies that we don't actually really need him that much. We could put him away if we wanted, I think. Okay, this should be fine. This works out because it gives us a bit of extra height too to clear this mountain ridge coming up.
Yeah, the good thing about cart slide is as long as you don't pick up the smuggled weapon, you can just retry them or set them up whenever or wherever you fall. As long as you have that little smuggle. If you pick it up, it's a little worse, but...
Alright, maybe not quite enough height here. 10 arrows should be fine, I think. Yeah, we've got a little bit of wiggle room. Can't miss too many shots, though. We're gonna need most of these. And the water temple questline that we just finished is actually the longest of the run, so our remaining dungeon segments will be shorter from here on out. This one does have a pretty high dialogue to gameplay ratio though, Fire Temple, although it's a bit shorter. The Goron sequence here is all about piloting wings. We're gonna be, yeah, this is a very movement heavy section. There is one fight, but it's basically a movement skill check, mid-air movement skill check disguised as a mini boss fight. And then inside Fire Temple itself, we're gonna be using wing piloting to get quick hits on all of the terminals, because Yunobo's Sage ability is that he spawns in whenever you're riding a vehicle, and even if you're just standing on a wing with no steering stick or fan or anything, the game still counts that as a vehicle. So Yunobo will get an instant spawn every time you jump on a wing. So I do like this section. It's got some pretty stylish looking tricks, so hopefully we'll be able to hit all those. First, we're gonna need Minoru, so I'll go ahead and release her from her prison. This mini boss fight with Yunobo here is pretty simple. He has literally 3 HP. So we're gonna use this, and it's on a cycle that we have no way to kind of speed up. So we're gonna use the downtime to finish duplicating the rest of our materials for the rest of the run, being fairies, maybe a couple of charges, that ancient blade we grabbed, and some topaz, which we will also be using for combat sections. So now would be a good time. We can probably get in 1 or 2 donation readouts.
For sure. So we'll start with our nice little update here. We are sitting at $78,722, which is great work, everyone. Supporting Malala Fund with every dollar that comes in. And again, hands up. Who likes Pokemon here? We like Pokemon. I like Pokemon. You like Pokemon. We all like Pokemon. We need just over $3,000 more for our bonus game. So let's keep at it, folks. Time is so short. Now, again, we had someone come in with $15 from Barry, who says Link's Pokemon team would be Pidgeotto, Zacian, Voltorb, Seedot, Rapidash, and Scyther. Okay, interesting combo. Love to hear it. We've been really curious about who people would think, like which Pokemon people would think would be on each person's team. We know about Link, curious about Zelda. If you know for the Sages, would love to hear all about your favorite Pokemon and who might fit in with the lovely Legend of Zelda world. Do tell us, do tell us. Thanks so much to everybody who have been sending in your donations. We appreciate them so very much. Let's keep that Friday night energy rolling strong, okay, friends?
The one redeeming quality of Minoru here is she gets to slap Yunobo, and it's very funny looking.
I guess my hot Tears of the Kingdom take is that Yunobo... I was gonna say Yunobo is the worst character, but I don't know if I can go that far. I don't like Yunobo, though.
That is a hot take.
I guess I'm pretty neutral on Yunobo. But yeah, I do think he's a little bit annoying. In the speedrun, though, he's perfectly fine. He's actually one of the more cooperative of the sages.
Gorons in this game just in general have like, I find the mouths like creepy. I don't know how to put it.
That's fair. That's fair. I can get behind that. So then we're gonna get introduced to his sage ability, which is launching him like a cannon. It's pretty fun to play around with. But yeah, if you've seen a Breath of the Wild speedrun that does dungeons, you know what's gotta be one of the worst parts of that speedrun, right? Just a time-gated auto-scroller marching up Death Mountain with him. But in Tears of the Kingdom, he's pretty fine.
I will say I dislike him a lot more in Breath of the Wild. That's true.
This is supposed to be like his redemption arc, right? He stopped selling rocks to the local populace.
Huh?
He was cooler with the mask on.
Alright, so here another movement section where we're going to be looking up for lag reduction. And we're going to go for a little optimization that saves a couple seconds where you can land in front of Yunobo before he enters his dialogue spot and get an early kind of cutscene interaction.
I should be taking notes right now. I'm learning. Gotta save those few seconds in my hundo run.
A little bit off track here. That should be good. Okay, yeah, that should be perfect. And then this boss fight coming up here, Miragia, is the one that I was talking about, where it's basically just a movement skill check disguised as a boss fight. There we go. Got the quick talk there.
I guess speaking of mini bosses, I can ask the question of what's your favorite mini boss in Zelda
Ooh, like of all time?
of all time?
Ooh, okay, I like that. Let us know, friends. Would love to hear.
I can go first. I have an answer. I'll go with
Okay, do
Skirbo
it.
from Skyward Sword, the sand ship mini boss.
Oh, yeah. Those were fun dungeons, honestly. So, very good choice.
I love Skyward Sword dungeons.
Can we snipe him? Not quite. Oh, he takes forever to come back. Okay, well, there you go. And, oh! Swerved.
Oh my gosh, he just got played.
He's using aimbot or whatever. Surely at point blank range he will dodge, right? Alright, so not completely clean, but good enough. That's not the first time that's happened to me. That's the second time that's happened to me. So not quite another that's never happened moment, but close enough. Where he just moves his head completely to the other direction at the last second.
Huh?
Would you like some encouragement in the meantime?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, so we had $25 from Just Mike come in saying, let's get a $5 train going to get to that 82K. I'll start with 5 tickets. You all rock. Thanks so much, Just Mike. Gives me some of those, we'll connect it to Legend of Zelda, Spirit Tracks vibes. So let's get those $5 rolling in again. Every single dollar counts, and we can do this together. So let's work together. Let's get pictures of Pokemon. You know what's up.
Thank you, thank you. Here we're just gonna be another little quest dialogue portion before we finally enter Fire Temple. We're just gonna be rocketing a little further here. Nothing too crazy, so we probably have time for 1 or 2 more readouts.
All right, speaking of pictures, we had $25 come in from J. Jonah Jameson, who says, Link, hero, or menace? But enough of that, chat. I need pictures of Pikachu, and I need them now. Bingo, you got it. And we can only get pictures of Pikachu by hitting that 82K for our bonus game. So again, working together, doing great work. Just over $3,000 more needed. Can we hit 79K really quickly with that $5 train too? That is so close for us. And again, every dollar is supporting Malala Fund. So let's roll those in, friends. You're doing so well. And let's extend this marathon with another bonus game, shall we?
So one thing interesting to note about Fire Temple here, we also call it Lag Temple because we get a significantly decreased frame rate a lot of the time from all the fire particles loading in and then far off objects in the depths trying to load in as well. It can really be annoying for Pocket Rocket because the way it works is it's a quick succession of pressing A to B, A to do a shield surf and then B to cancel the surf. But if there's enough lag, your B input can get eaten. And so Link just does like a forward shield hop that loses height a lot faster and it burns the rocket out a lot faster. And it can really mess you up. So you really gotta... This is definitely a Pocket Rocket skill check for Fire Temple here. If it weren't for the lag, I would think Fire Temple would be one of the top dungeons in my opinion. But I still think it's fairly fun enough, especially with some new strats that we've hooked up to get to each terminal quicker. Okay, we're going to be fighting the lag going around the side rather than opening up that hallway. This one's a bit risky because of the lag, but it saves 3 seconds, so we have to go for it, right?
Absolutely. I guess the one downside, or a downside of 1.0 with it being, the first version is its optimization is really bad. There's like built-in snapback, there's lag in places there really shouldn't be. And I don't know if you know if this is true or not, Cloud, but I think the Korok text boxes are like longer in 1.0.
They are. I was actually the one that discovered that.
Oh.
So it's funny, if you're doing an all Koroks speedrun, you're losing like 15 minutes by playing on version 1.0.
And 1.0 is still faster for 100%. That's how broken it is.
But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I'll just go ahead and briefly go over it again so I don't have to explain on the way, but we're going to be doing those same wing hops and dismount or wing deploys to get an instant spawn from Yunobo with a little bit of, tricky piloting and aiming to hit all these gong terminals to access the final boss room. We could actually clip into the boss arena right now, but the boss won't spawn. The boss won't be able to be defeated until we activate all the terminals. So now I'll just go ahead and focus on my movement here so the lag doesn't ruin the fun.
Yeah, the lag loves to eat Pocket Rocket inputs. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That was perfect.
That's very nice.
That must be the...
Yeah, me personally, doing the wing strats in Fire Temple with Univo does make me feel really cool.
It's very fun to pull off, for sure. This one's not quite as hard. I think the first one is definitely more difficult. I missed. The nice thing is, if you miss, you get a very, very quick retry. Loses like a second, maybe. That first one, the timing is so tight because if you're too far back, the wing will fall into the lava. And that usually means you fall in the lava, which means you usually get sent back to the beginning of the temple. But if you're too far forward, then you'll go into the cutscene trigger, and Yunobo will cancel mid-roll to stand up and talk to you. I think we're a bit low here. It should be fine, though. Yeah. Oh, not quite. Okay, time to improvise. Actually, we'll just go back up. And there you can see that lag trying to turn around there. Ooh. Alright, this should be better. You see, we get that instant spawn again. There we go. Just 2 more terminals. Now's probably a good time to mention there was a very interesting strat that was found for the last terminal. So there's just like a switch behind a gate that you have to hit. And we've been doing a bomb shot through the bars, but that requires Sidon's bubble, which requires Sidon to spawn in, which requires giving yourself a migraine because he never cooperates. But recently, the current world record holder for this category, Flower2, incredible runner from China, he came up with a strat where you can just snipe it through the bars with a precise lineup, which means no waiting for Sidon. It's just an instant gate opening. Not only that, but it basically guarantees a quick Unovo spawn too without needing the wing. So we'll go ahead and show off this bubble-less strat as we call it here. And you can do this in your casual playthrough on any version. If Link stops grabbing the wall, perhaps.
Hang in there, Goro.
Q. Maybe we're not wedged far enough in.
Stay focused.
I can't remember the Q.
Hang in there, Goro.
I thought it was this right here. If I run out of arrows, this is not going to be good. There we
Don't
go.
run out of arrows.
Okay.
Okay.
7th try is the charm, I suppose.
Nice.
You still grab them all.
Still faster than whatever the casual way is. Don't ask me. I don't know it. Even in
you
my
like
casual
some-
playthrough, I just ascended through everything to get through here.
Heck yeah.
I don't even know how to do half of these casually.
That's the door.
You're making it look so easy, Cloud, honestly.
We're very low on arrow count though there, so I'm gonna have to improvise for this boss fight. Hope you guys don't mind me cooking up on the fly.
Would you like some commemorative donations in the meantime?
Sure.
All right, so we had $25 from Adorable come in saying, I'm vouching for the Gorons. I became an honorary Goron in Phantom Hourglass, and I've kept that vow since that day. Who else in chat has played Phantom Hourglass? I'm putting my hand up. We had talked about this earlier. It's okay. It's okay. But also want to shout out that, again, we are just over 3,000 left on that bonus game. Can we do Pokemon Snap? I know we can. Let's keep it going. There is so much hype for this game, and I have heard it is a phenomenal run that you will absolutely not want to miss. So, let's get her done, shall we? Good work, everybody. Keep supporting Malala Fun. Keep getting those donations in. Keep letting us know those hot takes, okay?
So the normal strat for the boss here is you just do 3 topaz shots to his eye to 1 cycle. But since I don't have enough arrows, we're gonna have to improvise a bit here. I'll just have to burn through them. Oh. Let's see if we can get in a cheeky throw for the last one. Not quite. Okay, we'll have to burn our last arrow then. Actually, the fact that we're going to the stable to feed the dog actually just kind of saved the run because I need arrows for the next segment and there's nowhere to get them, but we can get them at the stable quite quickly. So thank you to everybody who donated. This run is now pay to win because I need those arrows.
Yes, donors.
You guys are making up for my skill issue. I really appreciate it. So if this run ends up being a PB and I submit it to speedrun.com, everybody send me your username and I'll put you on there as like a collaborator. we can share the placement. So anyways, that's Fire Temple. Besides the scuffed boss fight at the end, it went pretty well. And now it is time to go feed the dog after this cutscene here. So if we've got a donation readout, now would be a great time.
For sure. We had $25 from Joker, who says, I want to be the best photographer around. You know what? Pick up some Pokemon Snap, Joker, and show us those pictures. We would love to see it. I trust you. I trust you. And thanks so much for your donation. Great work, everyone, on working towards this bonus game. We had also had $25 from Pecan Gal come in, as well as $25 from Anonymous. We love seeing all this support for Malala Fund. Keep it up. And tell me about your fave Pokemon too, shall we? If you were going to be in the little Pokemon Snap vehicle, taking pictures of Pokemon, which one are you looking for? Tell me all about it. I love that game, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it too.
Ooh.
Alright, so since we're out of arrows, the arrow is actually counts towards our overload as well, so I'll need to do the backup setup, but it's very, very quick, so it should not be an issue here. And it is time to head to the stable and feed the good puppy.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
It's doggo time.
Alright, this should have worked. I've never had to improvise like that before, but looks like it worked out. And we can clear the mountain ridge here. Stable is right about there. Alright, there it is. I'll go ahead and do a little bit of lag reduction here. This flight segment, we're heading to Rito Village next to complete the Wind Temple. This flight segment, we normally head straight there if we're not feeding the dog. And it's the longest car slide in the run. In pretty much any run, I think.
I also just wanted to shout out, big thank you again to everybody that sent in donations, because just feeding the dog alone raised over $2,000 for Malala Fund. So it's amazing what the power of dogs can do, hey?
Indeed, thanks so much to everybody. And we'll go grab the little treasure too. First, since we're here, normally these guys back. Thank you for your service. You are no longer required. I'll go ahead and pick up these arrows first. Just sell a little bit of equipment here. Oh wait. These 3 topaz are the ones that we would have used on the boss, so we're actually not messing up our item count at all. And since we're here, we'll just grab all these. It'll save us from some pickups later. And now, it is time to feed the dog. Gonna drop in a little meat care package from the sky. And there he is, the goodest boy.
No.
Eat up, buddy. So once he eats these 4 pieces of meat, he's going to become our friend, and he's going to lead us to a secret treasure chest that has a hidden item. I think this one is like 50 rupees or something. So I guess we could have actually done that first to buy the arrows, but I can't remember.
Eating all 4 with a hungry boy.
He loves us. He loves us. All right, where's the treasure? Show us. Oh, he's going the long way.
Doggo.
Let's go. Let's go.
Is this RNG? Is the dog?
It's not.
Okay.
It's once you feed him, the treasure chest spawns in immediately.
Oh, thank goodness.
Let's see what we got. 20 rupees. Okay. Worthless. I mean, thank you, Doggo. I really appreciate that.
Doggo saved the speedrun.
Oh. Okay, we're gonna have to set this up again.
Oh yeah, we never mentioned that. if you for pocket rocket, if you hold target, then it burns the rocket and you have to reset it up entirely.
That works out though, because actually this is the point in the run where I always swapped my fresh shield. So the Highland shield has a lot of durability, but it's not infinite. It's like 900 or something jumps we can do. But we've done so many that we're already approaching that limit. There's probably about 150 jumps left on it. But we're going to be rocketing all the way up to a wind temple from down here. So if we don't swap to our fresh shield, the shield tends to break during wind temple while we're out of bounds. And there's a bunch of invisible collision and we can't see where we're going. It's a quite bad thing to forget, a tiny little mistake that can cost a lot of time. So burning our rocket there actually doesn't matter because we need to swap to our fresh one anyways.
So Cloud, I have a question.
Sure.
Does Magic Carpet remind you of a train at all? This is related, I
A
promise.
train?
Yeah.
A donation train, perhaps?
Perhaps. We had $25 from Turkey12 come in continuing the train, saying 5 tickets for the Pokemon Snap train. Let's keep it rolling. I'm picturing, like little fun little bumper car kind of thing you roll in. That's what all the train cars look like. So get those $5 tickets in and we can get you all aboard that train. Less than $100 to 79K already, okay, folks? Time is short. You want Pokemon Snap? Let's work together, okay? I've got the tickets, you've got the donos. Let's make a deal. We'll see y'all on the train very shortly.
All right, so now we're gonna set up our fresh rocket here. For a second, I thought we were going to get the sunny day glitch, which I rarely get in runs. It looks like it didn't fully trigger. It's basically a useless glitch. It's just a visual bug. But the weather here is coded to always be stormy until you beat Wind Temple. But there's a little glitch that we call Sunny Day Glitch where whatever trigger or flag that sets that just never triggers. So it's all bright and sunny. It doesn't do anything, but it just changes the lighting and the aesthetic, and it's super fun. Sometimes you can get it during that flight segment. So here, this part, nothing too crazy. We're going to be looking for Tolan. Normally, they want you to go through like this long, winding cave up the mountain and find where he is. But we actually, not only do we already know exactly where he is, right by that tree up there in front of us, but we don't even have to talk to him. We can just skip right by and shoot the enemy as soon as it spawns in. So we don't even have to go all the way there and we'll just get warped into the cutscene. Second now, there he is. And the nice thing about rockets too, not only do they let us jump around, rockets will also fly perfectly straight until they despawn if you fuse them to arrows. So we're gonna use that to our advantage in a few of these segments here. But we actually should have time for another readout or two during this part here.
Absolutely, really good news. We have already passed 79K, so we are all aboard the train, rolling to $80,000, which is a wild number. Let's keep it up. We had $20 from Doggo, who says, "Here's 20 rupees. Thanks for the steak." And thanks so much for being around, Doggo. We appreciate you too. Following up on that, we had $10 from Alien Crustacean, who says, "Good, Doggo." And now I also want to take this moment to point out that we have a brand new bid war that is open for tomorrow. Do you want to be the first to jump on it? Because it is a continuous bid war between futuristic glasses and mustaches. You can choose whether the zombies themselves will wear futuristic glasses or mustaches, and whatever is in the lead will just keep flip-flopping the entire run. So if you want to get a head start on something fun run for tomorrow, there's another option for you. We can support the Pokemon Snap bonus game and the bid war at the same time, all while raising money for Malala Fund. So thanks so much everyone who's gotten for the 79K already. Let's get to 80K as fast as possible, speedrunners, okay? We'll make quick work of it. We're in the final hour of the run. Time is so short. Let's do this, everyone.
Here's another section where we have to struggle with lag and world loads, but looking up or looking in any direction does not help because these snow particles are everywhere and they slow down the game quite a bit. Activating Toland's ability there, it looks useless, but it actually gets him to instantly trigger that cutscene right here, so nice little optimization that can save you a couple of seconds. And from here, we're just going to be rocketing up to Wind Temple. Nothing too crazy. We should be able to get there with just one Zonai charge, barring any lag incidents.
If we had an easy way to get stabilizers, would you use the vertical cart slide?
Great question. So what Nuki's talking about is there's a build that was discovered quite recently where you can do a cart slide straight up using a stabilizer, another Zonai device. There are stabilizers actually not too far out of the way to Water Temple. So we could get them earlier. And it works, but it doesn't end up being faster. It basically the best you can do is break even to losing a few seconds.
No.
Just by it's just barely too far out of the way to justify it. So the rocketing here is
cool
what we
though.
said. Yeah, but other longer categories like all shrines, which I've also been running recently, we do grab stabilizers to do vertical cart slides, 45-degree angle cart slides. So these magic carpet that we're showing here, the horizontal ones, that's just kind of like the introductory, the 101 to magic carpet. There's a few other configurations that we've been kind of cooking up to suit us various purposes. It's just in all dungeons we don't really have need of them. It looks like we'll be have just enough battery to get up here. Maybe not. I'll go ahead and pop one just for safety. Falling in style. And here we are at Wind Temple. Wind Temple has been it's a really interesting case because it's been kind of tough to route because there's a lot of out of bounds, really cool skips you can do for Wind Temple, but there's a lot of coaling zones. We talked about earlier how if Link clips through Minoru, he'll get cold because the game will just make him disappear. It's something similar with steering stick clips, except those are more localized to specific areas. And Wind Temple is full of them. You can basically think of them as invisible boxes that are death traps that will eat Link. And so you really have to be careful. The spots that we clip out of bounds have been kind of specifically cooked up so that we don't get eaten by the game. But the nice thing on the other hand, about routing Wind Temple is that Toland's ability, the gust that we need to blow the fans, has the longest cooldown of any Sage abilities. So we're basically kind of working into those 15-second increments to get from terminal to terminal. And so there's actually quite a few different orders that are equally viable that are equal in time save because you're kind of gated by those 15-second cooldowns. So my route is a bit different from the one that's in the world record, which is a bit different than the one that you might see another runner do, if only a bit slightly. But we've also got some neat skips and tricks in this dungeon as well. However, before we get into that, I think we should have time for one quick readout during this cutscene.
For sure. We have $10 from Laszlo, who says, shoutouts to the tech crew being cozy in the control room with me. Less than 3. Excellent run so far, Cloud. And let's get Pokemon Snap. Indeed. Really great news. This number sounds so doable. I'm so excited. We only need $2,827. We are chipping away at that total. Again, every dollar counts, and we are so excited to see this number just flying up. Let's hit 80K and work towards that 82K that we need for Pokemon Snap. And tell me about your favorite Pokemon in the meantime too, maybe, right? We said like maybe there's some crossover between here and Legend of Zelda. With this vibe, kind of the more wintry vibe we've got going on, I'm picturing some Alolan Ninetales action. Might be one of my favorite Pokemon as well. So tell me all about yours. Let's get excited for this bonus game, and let's get candy running in Fatales tonight. All right, everyone, keep it up.
Alolan Vulpix is so cute.
Right? I love them.
Is this where I shamelessly plug my Alolan Vulpix emotes?
Honestly, please do. Please
I
do.
can attest, they are very cute. So we're going to be traversing out of bounds here. This section's kind of stressful. There's so much lag, and if Tolan's cooldown comes back early, it can mess up your pocket rocketing, but there we go. We still made it just in time for the cooldown. So for the next terminal here, we're going to be abusing that fail-safe mechanic again to open the gate from the inside. We're going to trigger the cutscene to open the door from beneath. So we're going to try to rocket up there if we can. Oh, pivot a little bit this way first. Gives ourselves a little breathing room. There we go. Not too bad. But we should still be able to meet the cooldown pretty leniently.
I actually have a decently interesting question for you, I think. So from touching the first terminal to activating the last terminal, what is the fastest temple?
Well, I would say Lightning Temple, but that's a bit of a special case, as you guys will see in about 20 minutes or so. Because in Lightning Temple, we actually activate all the terminals before touching the little portal at the beginning. If we're allowing that kind of disclaimer, it's probably Lightning Temple. If not, then you know, honestly, I think they're all close, but I probably have to go with Wind.
I was struggling between wind and fire. I couldn't tell which is faster. But lightning, I think that's the obvious answer.
Yeah, I have a hunch that there we saw that lag ate my B input, so I missed the rocket jump. All right, so having been speedrunning this game for over a year, I've heard from a lot of people that Cloudnine is not only their favorite boss, but their favorite boss theme.
Yes, I agree.
So I'm going to have to apologize to all of you that we're not going to be listening to very much of it.
I will keep my hot take to myself.
Would you like a donation to ease the suffering of not hearing the track?
Sure. I think the viewers could use it.
Yeah, we have $25 from Cybern continuing the train, saying $25 donation train for Pokemon Snap. Let's go! And we are doing so great. Just over 2.5K left for our bonus game. Let's get this game. Let's get candy running. We can do it, folks. I want to take pictures of Pokemon. You want to take pictures of Pokemon. We all want to take pictures of Pokemon. Let's get her done. And we can hit 80K for Malala Fund any minute. Every dollar counts. Let's get those donations in, everybody. We're having a party on Friday night. Appreciate you all.
Thank you so much. And I'm thinking that maybe we should have had our donation be listen to the entire Colgera theme. Or not our donation, but our incentive to be listening to the entire boss theme. All phases. But there you go. That's Wind Temple. And I missed a shot on purpose at the end as a little consolation prize so you guys can hear a couple more seconds of the song. You're welcome. You're welcome. But
You
yeah,
could have made a hard save right before Have it be
True,
at the end.
and then
for
go
an
back at
instant.
the end and
Too
jam
late.
out. What's funny is that if you've seen an any percent speedrun of this game, the Colgera boss fight is a lot more pertinent because so part of our criteria for what counts as a dungeon is if you, spoiler alert by the way, if you proceed directly to the end of the game, if you don't beat any dungeons, you have to fight each of the 6 dungeon bosses in order before you can get to the final boss against Ganondorf. However, in any percent, we can use arrow smuggle to clip out of bounds and then clip back inbounds on the other side of the door that's blocking you. And the first boss in the boss rush is Colgera. So his theme is playing the whole time that we're clipping out. And even once you get into the Ganondorf fight, his theme, Ganondorf's theme kicks in for a bit, but then Colgera's theme comes back and overrides it because the game, there's 2 bosses active at once. The game can't decide which theme it should play. So it swaps back between Colgera and Ganondorf's theme. It's pretty fun.
We have more people for the hype train if you'd like as well.
Yeah, for sure. We got some time.
So we had $25 come in from Musty Mouse saying 5 tickets for the hype train, please. We need Pokemon Snap. More Flame Fatales means more good we can do. Let's go, chat. You got it, Musty Mouse. Thank you so much for buying those tickets for the hype train. We are so excited to have you on board. And again, making really great work of this. Just over 2.5K for this bonus game. Let's work together. Every dollar counts. You are all doing great work. We are in the final hour of this game, and our bonus game will be up next. So keep pushing, everyone.
That's right, just 2 more dungeons left, and the next one, our penultimate dungeon, is going to be the Lightning Temple. The whole entire Gerudo section is pretty fun. We've got a good mix of combat and movement. It's very well balanced, and then the dungeon itself, if you guys haven't seen this one before, and you thought the other dungeons were broken, you ain't seen nothing yet. This one is probably the most glitchy of them all. So we're just going to be doing a cart slide to get into the Gerudo region. Sorry, what was that, Nikki?
I said it's just pure silly.
Pure silly indeed. Gonna thread the gap a bit here. There we go. So I think the intended route is you're supposed to visit Gerudo Town first, and then they direct you to find Riju. But again, it's the same situation with Tolan Light. We already know where she is, and if you go directly there, it automatically starts the quest. We're just going to be diving straight down, and we're going to do a little bit of a different movement here. So this drop smuggle, normally I've been picking up the stick or clearing the stick so we can do some rocketing, but here we're actually going to preserve the drop smuggle so we can reuse it for multiple card slides without having to go through that lengthy process of dropping the weapon, swapping the weapon, etc., using, all those things. So it's going to be some pretty quick movement from here on out. For the first half of the Gerudo section, and there's going to be 2 combat challenges that are basically time gated, but we've got good strats to get them all on the first possible cycle.
Would you like a quick donation?
For sure.
All right, we had $25 from Kiwi come in saying, I'm here for the hype train with 25 Bulbasaurs. We want to see all the Pokemon pics. Thanks so much, Kiwi. I'm wondering if you really like Bulbasaur. I love that. Thanks so much for donating 25 Bulbasaurs. We appreciate you very much. Again, very short amount of time until this run is over because Cloud is just that good. She's a queen with this game. So make sure to get those donations rolling in for our bonus game, which comes up right after this. 2.5K left to go. Let's work together, friends. You're doing amazing.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, the Gerudo section here, probably about 15 minutes. Hyrule Castle, our last dungeon, is going to be pretty short, and then we're heading straight to the final boss. So there's not that much time left to get in those donations for Pokemon Snap. But here you can already see how quick we get the next card slide out by not having to do the whole weapon setup. Having the smuggle already active. Less than 15 seconds, we're already into the next cutscene trigger. And here we get to fight these creepy guys. Okay, was anybody else just like... When I first saw the Gibdos in my casual playthrough, I was equal parts freaked out and equal parts excited because they brought them back from like the old games, you know, like Majora's Mask.
I actually felt the exact same way, and then I realized what they were, and I got scared.
I thought they were like the Re-Deads, you know, from Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm.
But they kind of like mixed them. It's very cool.
The moment I figured out you could use gems on them, though, it was over. My fears were gone.
Oh yeah, and right here is a big showcase of why we duped those Topaz, because they just one-shot the entire army, basically, each little group. And just like that, the fight's over.
That is amazing. That fight annoyed me casually the first time.
You know what? I'm curious as to how you felt about the Gerudo town defense, because we're gonna be doing a little bit of a similar thing with this next fight coming up too. The town defense here was one of my favorite parts of the game. Casually, working through the story, I just thought it was really cool how you get to like build your little fortifications and position the troops and stuff. It was super fun, but sadly doing that is quite slow and we can do it faster. So we're gonna be just kind of going in without any prep. It's really funny because Riju's like, make sure you talk to the captain and get everything prepped, and then come back and talk to me when you're done. And then you just don't do that and instantly talk to her again a second time and say, well, I'm ready now. And she's like, okay, cool, I trust you.
You just lie to her face.
I know.
And she
Well,
takes it.
It's not really lying. I mean, I am prepared, just not in the way that she probably thought.
I suppose that's true.
But yeah, let's give a shout out to our wonderful, awesome Gerudo warrior ladies.
Would you like some donations quickly?
Yeah, we got time.
Awesome. We had $10 from Vestige saying, let's snap them Pokemon. You got it. We're working on it. We're doing great. I also just want to check in really quickly on the really funny bit where we have going on for tomorrow. We had someone take a really early lead with the futuristic glasses, putting us at $305 pretty much immediately. They sniped it so quickly. Now, unfortunately, with all of this, Mustaches has been trailing behind at barely over $65. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I thought we really liked, you know, the Mario Brothers, Waluigi, our good friends over in the Nintendo franchises, and they've all got mustaches. So if you're really into mustaches like those, make sure you're keeping your eyes on that bid war, because otherwise those futuristic glasses are going to be taking a really early lead, and I don't know, we just can't have that. So we can work on the bid war, we can get that bonus game. Again, we're getting close to just half an hour left in our run, so we have to work together to push for this bonus game and do it all together for the good of Malala Fund. Keep it up, everybody.
Low battery.
Don't worry about it. It's important to a trick coming up. Not really. So here, just like the previous fight, this fight's on a cycle. The cycle's not particularly tight, but if you let some of the Gyudos slip through, you can easily bleed a lot of time here. Also, shout out to these Gerudo ladies here. Actual helpful NPCs in a speedrun. Like, they prevent those Gyudos from getting in like 99% of the time. They even, sometimes you arrive and they've already taken all of them out for you. They're just so good at their job. And just like that. The town has been defended, and we've got one more objective before we can make our way into Lightning Temple.
We've got
Also
another quick
thankfully-
donation if you've got time, Cloud.
Just one sec. So right
Okay,
here,
for sure.
right here, there's a risky clip you can do that saves a grand total of 2 seconds. And if you miss it, you lose anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes. So I'm not going to go for it, but we'll just continue to the next puzzle here. And yeah, we're ready for that donation.
Awesome. So we have $25 from Modus Pawns, who says, Parker, bring me pictures of Pokemon. And, you know, we got to do that really quickly. Cloud, fill us in. How close are we to done? Time is short, hey? Let us know.
We've probably got about 10 more minutes of Gerudo. Hyrule Castle segment's about 9 minutes or so. And the endgame segment is not that long.
Right, okay.
We don't have that much time left.
So we are in urgent mode, everybody, but we can do this. It is so doable. Again, let's keep that train rolling. If everybody donates a small amount of money together, we can chip away at this amount so hard and get this bonus game. But it cannot be done without all of your support. So again, let's team up together, everybody. Let's get this bonus game. It is so doable. But again, you heard Cloud. She's too good. She's too fast. We gotta work fast as well if we're going to get this bonus game. So keep it up, everyone.
So these little mirror puzzles where you got to move the levers, you can just use your rocket with Ultra Hand and activate it. Let the Zonai device do the work for you.
This was one of my favorite parts because it reminds me of Tower of the Gods from Wind Waker.
Oh, you know what? It does. I never made that connection.
Gotta spread the Wind Waker love.
There's more love coming in donos too, if you'd like.
Yeah, we got time.
Awesome. So we had $10 from Marty saying, hello from Vodland. Glad to catch some of the event live. Here's to access to education and Link, hero of the most gender of all time. Indeed. Thanks so much, Marty. We also had $10 from Sailor Jade come in, all going towards this bonus game. We are so excited to see all of this great support coming in. Keep it up, everyone. Time is so short, as we mentioned again. We're at 2.5 hours into this run, and the estimate is only 3, and it sounds like we're going to come under. So let's keep it up. I would love to personally hear, I don't know if you're really into like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon stuff too, but in those moments, you turn into a Pokemon. So let me know if you could be any Pokemon. Which one would you be? Which one's your favorite? I do want to quickly shout out as well that we just had a massive donation come in and we have passed $80,000 already. $1,000 from Valerie saying, more Ratals.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Right? So just 1.5K, we can do this. It is in sight. Time is short. Keep it up, y'all.
All right, so there's that mirror puzzle. Nothing too crazy. This dungeon's a little bit different than the ones we've done before for a couple of reasons. Number one, casually, or the intended route, you actually meet the boss before you get into the dungeon. So we've got a double boss fight coming up here. And then second, well, we'll get there in just a moment. But also, super cool design here. I love the aesthetic for Lightning Temple. Where's my... There she is. Running through the desert in heels. I don't know how she does it. Riju.
Inspirational.
Honestly, bless. I can't even imagine.
I can't even run in heels on concrete.
On pavement, right?
What? Does that mean it's like the other difference?
We have a really funny donation if you've got time.
I'll go ahead and explain what we're doing first, and then we can go for it.
Absolutely.
So for Lightning Temple, you're going to see almost nothing of what you
Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, everybody, we are going to hang out together for a little bit just while we fix a couple of things on the back end here. Cloud will take a couple minutes and you get to hang out with me. That's fun or something, right? So while we are here, I just want to shout out that we have already raised over $81,000. Very, very excited to announce that that is less than 1K to our massive incentive. We have been making great work on that, and we have seen so much love coming in. So massive thanks. While we work on these difficulties, we want to make sure that we keep that rolling in. So again, we had a $250 anonymous donation. We appreciate you so very much. So good to see. And again, want to remind everybody that all of these donations are going towards a great cause. With our cause, we are all supporting Malala Fund with every single donation. And this is just a reminder that all of your dollars count to go towards this incredible charity. Reminder that Malala Fund is working for a world where every girl can learn and lead. With more than 130 million girls out of school today, Malala Fund partners with education advocates and activists who are breaking down barriers that hold girls back. We have been doing such great work all week, and I want to count down this really exciting goal with all of you. Again, we're at $81,061, less than $1,000 to go for this milestone. In fact, it's $939. So can we keep it up all together and count it down? I am so excited for this. We had $50 from Anonymous come in saying, let's get to that 82K. Pokemon Snap hype. Indeed. Let's keep it up. As I said, it's Friday night, it's party time, and all together we can come together as a Big Fatels community to support Malala Fund to end off our week in such a great way. This is also a good reminder, if you weren't aware, that we can work towards some really great prizes. You checked out the prize segment before this run as well, right? So we have a very beautiful Breath of the Wild Spirit Orb that closes when Pokemon Snap ends. That is very soon, okay? And if you want to get in to get this beautiful Spirit Orb, a minimum donation of $10 will get you in for that particular prize. Now, there are other wonderful prizes if you check them out at our beautiful prize page. We have the Gen 1 starter beanies from Pokemon. And speaking about Pokemon Snap, we are less than $500 to our bonus game. Can you believe it? Sitting at $81,561, which is so great to see. We had $10 come in from Anonymous saying, shout out to all the amazing volunteers. Thank you so much for supporting Malala Fund, to you as well. We couldn't do it without our wonderful donors who tune in, who watch, who support, who share us on social media. Every single thing you do is working towards building up our event and supporting charity, right? We are sitting under $400. Let's count it down together, everybody. $81,639. Unbelievable. We had $50 come in from Eunastasia saying, Pika Pee. Thank you so much. I'll give a little confession here. We kind of alluded to this while we were in the Wind Temple, but I am a huge Ninetales fan. It's been a while since I've played Pokemon Snap, so I'm not sure if there's Vulpix and Ninetales and all of them. But if there are, those are who I would want to see. So again, keep sending in those donations. We are counting down the final couple $100 to 82K. Less than 400 to go. Great work, everybody. We also have a $33 donation from Jadelyn saying, I need more Flame Fatales. Let's get 82K. All the love for the entire Fatales team. Donating the remainder of what I need to be eligible for the grand prize, and also mustaches. Now, really funny story about the mustaches. We have flipped and mustaches are in a heavy lead. So let's keep it up, everyone, and see where we end up. Now, great news. We have restored the run, and we will be getting right back to our Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom all dungeons run with Cloud. Let's get back into it.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Okay, so apparently the last thing you all heard from me is that you're not going to see anything like you saw before, and I promise I wasn't throwing the tech team off balance here. But just to re-explain what we're going to do real quick, we're going to be clipping out of bounds right here at the very start and hitting all the terminals from out of bounds before activating them again from the inside and then immediately going up to the boss room. So this is going to be a very quick segment here. We're just going to basically be running around in a circle with Riju, hitting all the terminals with her lightning strike. If we can get her to spawn. There she is. And you're going to see the most intense running in high heels that you've ever seen in your entire life. So I will say it's quite easy to get lost down here. When I was learning the category, you gotta remember what or memorize what like the terminals look like from underneath and out of bounds when you can't actually even see the thing you're aiming at. It's just like a general area. But here we are. We're already halfway complete with the dungeon. Basically,
now and then whenever...
just waiting on you.
Sorry.
What was that?
I was gonna say every now and then whenever I try to revisit doing this strat, I just forget where I'm going.
Very fair, very fair.
Do you want a super fun update, Cloud?
Sure.
So this is wild. I am super excited to announce that we have less than $200 to Pokemon Snap. The donors have been putting in the work while you were working on the game, and we had $50 from Pig Squad come in saying, loving your energy, Cloud. Go, Ganondorf. Thanks
Also,
so much for your support.
Can we just get a huge shout out to the incredible tech team? I don't know how you guys do it, but we love you guys. Thank you so much for taking your time to put on this wonderful event for us. We all really appreciate it.
All right, that should...
So want to shout out as well that working towards that total, we had $500 come in from players A and B who said, great job, everyone. Let's get some bonus content in. Thank you so much for supporting that bonus game. I see all the love for Pokemon Snap, and it is going to be a phenomenal game with only $175 needed to unlock it officially. So let's do it, let's snipe it, and we'll get some more Fatales content.
More Fatales.
Woo!
So there you saw, we just activated the terminal to start the dungeon. And after this cutscene here, we're going to activate it again and end the dungeon, and that'll be Lightning Temple. We're going to head up and beat the boss, obviously, but very, very quick. This is probably my favorite one in the speedrun, just because it's so funny. I'm just going to run around and shoot stuff and then do a couple of hops and bam, you're good.
Use your power to charge the 4 batteries, and it will function once more.
So in the event that you miss one and you enter the cutscene and it puts you in bounds, is it easy to clip back out of bounds without going under the sand floor?
It is not, actually. It's really easy to accidentally clip and go too far because, as you may have seen, you couldn't really make it out. We were just barely right below, like, where the floor is was just below, like, Link's head, height of where he was standing. So clipping back out of bounds is very hard. Once the cutscene snaps you back in bounds, one time I missed a shot in the run, but I was lucky that it was the terminal right behind. All you have to do is like move a rock out of the way. Other than that, it's probably like, if you're on pace, it's a run killer. If you miss a terminal shot here, thankfully it's pretty lenient as long as you know what you're aiming at. And now we can finally take care of Queen Gibdo once and for all. We'll be doing the same strategy as before. Topaz shot to the face and then stab.
We've got it cornered here.
So really exciting, Cloud. We are at the $100 mark officially before our
100 to
bonus
go.
game. Can you believe it? So we had $250 from Mustaches come in saying, here's a donation for whichever Pokemon has a mustache. Can you name any? What about like Probopass? I guess Probopass has a mustache, right?
I think that counts.
That should count, yeah.
Kind of, yeah. I love the tie-in with the Mustaches in the bid wars because Mustaches took a hefty lead. Just want to shout out again, Mustaches is sitting at $1,416 now, with futuristic glasses having fallen into $475. So thanks so much to everybody who's been supporting that. Again, $100 to Pokemon Snap.
Well, there you go. That is Lightning Temple, and we are almost in go mode. Just one dungeon remaining, and this is going to be one of the quickest ones, Hyrule Castle. So this dungeon is not unlocked until you complete the main 4 regional phenomena dungeons, which is, you know, the main elements, fire, water, wind, and lightning. So now we're going to be making our way back to Lookout Landing, talk to Pearl one last time, and then we're going to rush Hyrule Castle and then rush the end game. So we are coming up very closely to the end here.
You heard it, folks. Final couple minutes. Let's do it. Would you like a couple quick donations in the meantime as we prep for go mode?
Yeah, for sure. We've got a warp and then some more dialogue, so definitely got some time.
Awesome. So we had $25 from Corey Dornbush come in saying, adding to the Global Snap incentive. Thank you so much. We also had $50 from Michael Westbaum saying, let's go, Pokemon Snap. Is that the third game in the Let's Go series, potentially? No, thanks so much. I'm just joking with you. We appreciate your support. We also had $10 from Guppy saying, donating in hopes of seeing the Jigglypuff trio on Pokemon Snap tonight. Oh, here's hoping. I love some of those fun moments, you know, the little Easter eggs throughout that you look for. We also have $10 from Marty, who says, Professor Oak, please open the door. I have so many pictures of Sentret, my favorite Pokemon. Sentret is great. I love them. And we also have $50 from Theo saying, it's a privilege to donate to such an important cause. Thank you to GDQ, Frame Fatales, and everyone involved for putting on this amazing event. And of course, to Cloud and Nukie for expertly showcasing a game so many of us love. Thank you so much for your donation. Shouting out that we only need $76 more dollars for Pokemon
close.
Snap. What the heck? Keep it up, everyone. You are doing so great. We can do this.
The real go mode here is beat the game before my controller dies.
That's what I was going to say.
It's all good. If that happens, we'll just bust out the trusty Joy-Cons to finish out the run.
Oh my gosh. When's the last time you used those?
Link,
Great question. Probably when I was browsing the eShop on handheld the other
I
day.
am waiting.
I had to pre-order my
Cloud.
Echoes of Wisdom.
Waiting for
Really quick, I just want to jump in and say that we have officially hit $82,000. So we've got more Fatales, we've got Pokemon Snap.
go.
Thank you so much to everyone for supporting Malala Fund and these great incentives. We love y'all so much.
Great work, everybody. All right, so Hyrule Castle is not a traditional dungeon. It's basically a challenge, like a combat gauntlet. A lot of the challenge is supposed to be from like finding where each of the monster horde are, and then getting to them quickly. However, thankfully, we already know in advance, first of all, but then we also have such quick movement. And this part of the run is really a Pocket Rocket skill check to see how much you've been, how well you've learned this strat over the last few hours. A lot of type movement, dives, paraglider pulls. It's a very fun part of the run. And of course, we gotta wait for everything to load in. Alright, so we're already about halfway done with the dungeon. Just 3 more to go.
It's so funny just watching you do this section when I know I struggled so much, and watching Zuggling and Topaz trivialize it so much.
Right.
Because this took forever casually for me. Maybe I'm just, maybe I didn't pass the skill check.
You probably also didn't have Pocket Rocket if you think about it.
That's true.
Got him. Moments before impact. There's been times where that Moblin, you throw the Ancient Blade at him, and he smacks it with the Claymore like a baseball bat.
Oh my gosh. Home run.
Alright, let's see if we can get the 3-in-1 shot here. There we go. Very nice. 3-shot bow, 1 arrow for each leg. And that is Hyrule Castle, just the boss left remaining.
That's
This
so
movement
cool.
section is super fun and feels really good when you can just nail it.
waiting for you.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Cap it all off with a boss fight that could have been an email. You'll see in just a sec.
I love that so much.
As most of the boss fights in this game go. So spoiler alert, fake Zelda is not Zelda. She's actually this Gloom guy.
What?
Unfortunately for him, we have Topaz. Also, I'm gonna have to grab some arrows from Army because we are a bit low again. I skipped the pickups in Gerudo. But yeah, this is another one of those boss fights where the cutscene transition takes longer than the actual fight. So we'll let them group up a bit here and then take them out. Staying in bullet time gives the Topaz time to spread and hit them all. If you hit them and they don't die immediately, then they kind of warp away. But we are now officially in go mode. We are going to head straight to the end of the game now. And when I mean straight to the end of the game, I mean straight to the end of the game, straight down, because we are actually right above the Army platform. And wow, that was crazy. So we're going to drop a stick in place, and we are gone. Making our way down into the depths for the final time to confront the Demon King's army and then the Demon King himself.
It's so convenient with how the depths and the surface work with the stick clipping, how you can just zip down. It makes for some really cool stuff. Obviously, in like Hundo, you would see more depths. So we do a lot of that in Hundo.
It's pretty wild to me, like, just the amount of verticality in this game is very crazy to me, especially for an open world game. Like, even though we clipped directly straight down and took no detours, it still took us over a full minute to get from castle to the army platform here. That's a lot of movement.
It really is crazy. This game is too big for its own
Oh,
good.
this is my last arrow. Okay, well, we're gonna have to scavenge a bit early here. No biggie.
I hope you don't pull a me and run out of fairies.
You know what? Let's check. We have 14. We should be okay. I did a run yesterday where I ended the run with one fairy, and I used that one fairy in the final boss. So apparently it was like the perfect dupe amount. Okay, we good? That seems to be all done. For the 4 phases of army here, we've got these waves of Bokoblins, Lizalfos, Gibdo, and Moblin. The load times between waves can be a bit variant, but we have a few strats we can use to kind of give us an instant load, such as picking up a new item text. And in fact, we are going to be grabbing... Here we got this sword right here. This is going to be our proxy weapon to defeat Ganondorf. Basically the holder that we can fuse that last Lionel Horn to and get that huge attack buff on our Master Swords. Here we go. It's so satisfying to hit them all. And of course there's always like one guy that remains. That's a classic right there.
That is the classic.
All right, last bit of army here, and then there's only 2 more segments left in the run.
Would you like a couple quick donations in the meantime?
Sure, we can go for it. Probably just one, because we're about to head into Ganondorf fight basically right away.
For sure. So we had this supportive donation from Anonymous, $20, saying, "Where my N64 lovers at? Putting this towards the Snap effort as well as that PVZ bid war. Thank you so much for all that help. We appreciate you."
Awesome, awesome. So, gonna be heading into the Ganondorf fight now. And if you thought the other boss fights went by quickly, just wait.
Now, Ganon casually was the biggest skill check of them all, and I failed.
And then in the speedrun, 2 hits.
Not so much.
He doesn't even get time to fully pull out his weapon. At some point, I kind of start to feel bad for the guy, you know? He doesn't really get much of a chance to put up a fight.
It's just not fair. You should drop your Zuggle stack. Make it fair.
Maybe I would if, you know.
If you had controller battery.
I wasn't gonna say it, but you're right.
I think you're fine.
There's about 5 minutes left, probably. Should be right. Goodness. And there we go. The Demon King is cooked. However, if you remember, there is a secondary transformation that Ganondorf has, the Demon Dragon. And this is the real boss fight. This is actually one of the hardest segments of the entire run to complete optimally. And yes, it's the very last split. So if you're on PV pace and you've been gaming out of your mind for the last 2.5 hours, the last part of the run is not free. It's fairly simple to get a decent time, but to get the full time save from this fight, you really gotta be very quick. There's only maybe 3 or 4 seconds to spare because the Demon Dragon is on a cycle of his movement where he's available for you to attack him. So we gotta work with that cycle and be very quick here. Thankfully with Pocket Rocket, we can move around quick, but even with Pocket Rocket, it's still very tough. And Link, buddy, I think you forgot something there. There's a sword right there, and you're just kind of holding nothing. What's that all about?
Just a little sleepy. It's late and all.
He's just gonna do a power pose. That's a visual side effect of the dynamic zuckle glitch that we perform. And it's gonna force equip the Master Sword here, so we're gonna get a little bit of a wing coming out of Link as well. Another side effect of overload. So I'm gonna lock in here and focus and try to finish out the run. And it's better to just show, not tell, how the cycle works here, so I'll let you guys see for yourself.
Yeah, I'll just be quiet and let you focus. You got this.
Alright, so far so good. Now he's gonna start to move. I'm using pretty precise visual cues and timing for this section. Go charge. Right, now we're just gonna free fall, and we should land right above the last waypoint here. Perfect. Alright, now just one last section here. Oh, that's RNG, and that's really bad, but we should still be able to make it.
Wow, that's so unlucky.
It is very unlucky. Alright, this is going to be very, very close. A little too close. Almost, no. We were seconds away. Yeah, we lost it to RNG there because of getting hit by that boom ball, but we'll just have to wait this out for the last 15 seconds or so.
Demon Dragon,
Also,
not...
loud sound warning coming up.
Oh, yeah.
We want to be standing in the air for that last hit. I think we got it. Yep, we got it. If you're standing on the dragon's head, for some reason, it gives you an 8-second long loading screen to reposition Link. So we got to do that little trick, that trick hop with the blade beam throw. And there you go with this final strike here. It's not quite time, but our last boss has been defeated. There's just 60 seconds left in the run. There's one more thing to do, and that is catch that princess. Everything we've been working on for the last 3 hours is just to hold hands with the princess, and we're finally going to get to accomplish that goal. So now's the perfect part to give a shout out. I just want to say huge thank you to Fatals for having us on and letting us showcase this awesome game. Everybody who came in chat. I love the music here too. The soundtrack's just super awesome. Thanks to the tech team. Special thanks to Nukie for staying up super late to work the comms with me. Special shout outs to everybody in the Tears of the Kingdom community who's helped me learn the game and run the game, and who's also just been a huge support to me as I've been working to accomplish my goals. And with that, I hope you all enjoyed this run. It was such a pleasure to be here and get to show you off this cool, fun little speed game that I've been devoting a lot of my life to. So time's gonna end here when we catch the princess's hand in 3, 2, 1, and time. There you have it. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, all dungeons. Thank you guys all so much for coming by and supporting the run. I'm so happy we got to meet that bonus game for Pokemon Snap, so we get more Fatals. Thank you guys. More Fatals is always good. And that's I guess just one last thing. If you saw this run and you're interested in maybe giving it a try for yourself or another category, come check out our speedrunning Discord. It's a super friendly, super welcoming community. Even if you're a minority, if you're queer in any form, we're super open and welcoming to anybody who wants to come learn the game or just come and hang out with cool, awesome speedrunners and talk about glitches and talk about this fun game. So definitely check us out on speedrun.com. You can find our leaderboards and our Discord page from there. And with that, I will be saying good night and thank you again to everybody who came by. That's all from me.